death lay behind you. Good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile in your head. Come on in, the door's open. You'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and let our stories your ear. Cause we're talk the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk the tavern. Promising beer and bed love. The talk the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
And welcome to Monday, October 1st, 2018, which this is a special day. Does anybody know why it's special?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's been 6 years of Talk of the Tavern?
It's our 11th anniversary of broadcasting, our 6th anniversary of broadcasting live each week. So, and
6 for live. Oh,
yeah.
Yay, I was right.
You were right. You are absolutely right. And Ed totally bailed on us. And I tried to get my first co-host in here, and he was too busy. But I got something better. I got you three. Because you showed up, and that makes you better.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. No, but I didn't tell anybody. I didn't actually even think much about it until I'm, like, setting up the topic. And I'm like, oh, what else can I tell them about tonight's show? I'm like, oh, fuck, it's the anniversary, isn't it? So I'm Travis.
So everybody go below the video and hit that share button. Tell people to come celebrate our anniversary.
Hit that share button and throw some bits in celebration. Make my screen explode. And I'll say that more in a little bit when everybody else comes on. Hold on, I gotta put a thing in the window. I'm gonna have a pipe to celebrate and a cat. And okay, so I'm Travis Sivart. I'm the host. My vices tonight are going to be a pipe with, I haven't decided what kind of tobacco yet. Maybe a nice English blend, and just soda tonight. Some Coke Zero. What about you, Andrea? What do you got? Intro yourself.
Oh, I'm trying to type so I can share.
Oh, I meant Elizabeth, not you, because you're trying to type.
Oh, I can talk. I can type and talk. I have that power. All right. Tonight, hello from New York. Tonight my vices, oh God bless you. Tonight my vices are sweet tea, and as always, water from my dick.
I almost asked water from your what, but then I went, oh yeah, I know this.
I do want to say hearty cheers because it is the most wonderful time. Fall is here. You can almost hear the bugs dying. Everything starts to get a little creepy, a little spooky. I believe that black people's hearts time of year to decorate their lights of doom and gloom waits until January.
Indeed.
And I yield to John.
John, what's your vices tonight, sir?
Well, I'm having a monster since it is getting close to that trick-or-treat time.
Indeed.
I figure if I can drink one, I can maybe avoid some.
There you go. Do you drink? I've never seen you have a drink because you're always at the shop, but do you drink?
I gave it up after the Navy. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, good enough. Yeah. No explanation needed. So
I will socialize and I'll have a beer now and then, but nowhere's close to what,
Oh, that's what I mean by drink. Do you enjoy having a drink? Not you go get liquored up and shit. Not that.
Indeed. No.
Yeah, neither do I. Now, go ahead and make sure you introduce yourself and mention Conquest Publishing and everything, too.
Well, I'm John from Millington. I'm the editor for Conquest Comics and Publishing. I also run Jersey's Cards and Comics in Gloucester. We have 3 locations, one in Yorktown and one in Hampton also. Other than that, I'm happy to be here for the anniversary.
And we're happy to have
that
you.
That bug that's supposed to be dead, that gnat isn't dead yet. So hopefully you'll find
the night is young.
A different place to pester people.
There we go. Let's see. It looks like we got Jewel and Dropsome hanging out, and Steven is theoretically in the chat, but he's been kind of stuck in the chat for a week now, so I think he just didn't log off. But we like to pretend that he's watching, so we're just that much less lonely. So
Now, for a bit, I might need to leave here and there.
of course,
Still in a store, so.
of course, yeah, and you're open for at least another 53 minutes.
Another hour.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So.
So anybody
Usually tends to be the quiet time this time. Most people are home having dinner, so.
So anybody do anything cool over the past 7 days?
Let's see. We got a Magic pre-release for the new Guilds of Ravnica cassette.
How's it look?
Oh, pretty good. Everybody seemed to be pretty enthusiastic. So it's the third time for Ravnica, so that's how popular it is.
Third time.
And they
That's
kind of
right.
do that, so they're trying to draw people back into playing again.
Yeah, because they did something and screwed up, didn't they?
Yeah, here and there. And I got to meet some wonderful people that run MarsCon. So
Yeah, that's right. We did do the MarsCon this weekend. That's right.
That was yesterday. We had a meeting for the convention for this year, or for January. Fairy theme. I'm excited.
Yeah, the meeting went really well. It was actually a pretty good time, and it felt productive and all that good stuff. Bob! Yeah, we got a white Ed instead of a black Ed today, and we're going to call our white Ed John. So work with us as we do that. I do want to...
sorry, I'm like 10%.
That's right. And it's all below the waist.
So, when they toss around the ideas for next year's con future themes, are you going to suggest bag balls?
Well, it all depends on who the guest of honor is on what it's going to be. But I will throw spag balls in there.
Thank you.
Probably not the suggestion. She probably means literally throw spag balls in there.
I was just thinking suggestion, but I would love to see those costumes.
We could do that anyway, Elizabeth.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Let's go with this. You know, I did a little cleaning today, well, rearranging. I'm going to start selling stuff on eBay, and I moved stuff out of the room where the cat is, and moved it into the bedroom, all the bookshelves and books and whatnot, because I wanted to clear a little space in there, set up a table so I can take pictures of products and whatnot without having to, clear the dining room table and worry about cats jumping on it, etc. So while moving stuff around, I actually found one of my original business cards for Talk of the Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
The website was myspace.com/Talk of the Tavern.
That's how old it was.
That's almost as bad as us still having an AOL email address.
Yeah,
Which I'd love to get rid of.
Almost, but it's worse.
I almost teased you for that when you said it yesterday when I heard the word AOL. I'm like, what?
I giggled a little bit.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to Jamin and Jewel for sending the postcards. We've got it in there, and then I'm going to pass it over to Elizabeth. Thank you guys for the puns. Says, I knew you were treble the minute you walked in, or it might be the minute you walked in.
Treble.
And then one other theory is there's Noah's Ark firing on the ship full of dinosaurs. Mountain Code Red Spaghetti. Oh,
John. My name's Elizabeth, and I do have an AOL account. I use it for shopping, anything I gotta do online, and it's never been hacked, as far as I know. What about AOL, man?
I think they only go towards political pundits and stuff that use it and leave us mere mortals alone. Who knows?
Oh, keep it.
it probably hasn't been hacked because, they're like looking at an AOL account going, nope, they ain't got anything worth it.
Or that poor bastard's going to die soon. They're probably
That's right. They're still on dial-up.
still using this dial-up modem. So.
I had something kind of interesting happen. It took more than last week. It took a little bit of effort, but on behalf of a family member, they had purchased airline tickets, and then earlier in the year, and they also got the insurance. And due to health issues, they could no longer go on the trip, and it was asked if I would take over because there's just so much information you had to get through. I jumped through the hoops, did the phone calls. It ended up being not too terrible. You just had to plunge up that hill, push that rock over the hill, and they got the money in for the ticket.
Oh, great.
Nice.
There you go. There you go. Insurance does work.
Yay!
But be prepared. It's a whole lot of stupid shit you gotta get through.
Yeah.
When they put you on hold, I just put it on speaker and do other things.
Oh, there you go.
And then I make them wait and put them on hold. My music better.
It's always funny.
It is. You were singing it earlier.
Oh, an acapella.
I'm gonna pour a martini here real quick. I always find it funny, the things that make us nervous. As competent as some of us are, and insurance for me is one of those things that I'm never quite comfortable dealing with. That and returning stuff to a store. Go figure. Yeah, it's just one of those things for whatever reason.
You can return stuff to stores?
So I'm told. I avoid it like the plague. I hate doing it.
Oh.
I always feel like I'm doing something wrong. I don't know why.
Why did you buy this to start with?
That's right, pretty much. It's and I know how ridiculous it is, and doesn't mean I can't do it, but I still have a moment of uh-oh.
Well, maybe you do better if you bought your sex toys online.
That's what I do.
Well, I know thanks to Twitch I'm using them online.
It's, yes, sir, this is used, but only once.
I got nothing.
They have this one YouTube channel where they're it's a convenience store, it's a gas station, and all these people that come in because they have cameras everywhere in those places. I mean, at the register, they're just watching you on the TV screen, and just all the crap that people try, like you said. Well, it wasn't as bad as a sex toy, but the guy goes over, he opens up a bag of beef jerky, goes around the corner, opens it up, and then he takes it up and tells him he wants a refund for it. Like he'd already bought it or something. It's like, excuse me?
It's guys that steal meat, and they're obviously going to a barbecue. And this one guy put on each leg a whole rack of ribs down each leg, and steaks, and burgers, and hot, all in his pants, and then pulling them out of his pants at a Walmart before they let him in. And the helper is saying to him, "You tried this last week and we caught you. Why do you keep doing it?"
Ew, but don't put that meat back on the shelf.
Yeah. So the convenience store, the gas station, they actually charge them 3 times whatever the cost of the thing is, or they tell them they're going to call the cops.
I like that policy.
And one guy had given him a $20 bill. He goes, "Where's my change?" He goes, "Nowhere. It's time for you to leave."
That's great.
It's like, I give him credit. So
Bob says he's nervous about being the only AA person here. Hey, it's okay. I'm glad you got over your alcoholism. That's probably not what Bob meant, but whatever. We're going to go with that one. Show us your coin, buddy.
yeah.
We'll toast it.
Don't ask him to show you anything.
That's right.
Playing with fire.
So, okay. I've loaded some pipes. What else went on in the past week? Andrea, did we do anything interesting in the past week?
I worked.
Was that interesting? You have any good stories? Did somebody get caught in an oven and you had to launch it out over the desert before the bomb exploded?
No, that was last week.
Nothing this week?
This week was so uneventful.
No one tried to steal paint by showing. Yeah.
No, but one time somebody returned, drywall mud to the store, but they shit in the bucket.
True story.
Okay, hang on. You can't just say that without some questions. Okay, number 1, did they use any other drywall? Okay, whatever. Stop.
Probably. I didn't open it.
Because then it would have had vomit mixed in with it, too.
Number 2, how do they know it was shit? Did they open it and look?
Well, you said number 2, right there.
Because it's number 2.
Okay.
I don't know.
How
I don't
full
know
was,
custom.
did they like fill it all the way to the top? Did they just...
I ask these same questions.
Well, this is why I don't work customer service, because I'm sorry I cannot answer your questions. I just know what happened.
I mean,
know how shit got randomly put in your drywall.
I want to know what in the world happened that someone would say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shit this and I'm going to give it back to the store.
Now, yeah. I did have a person that asked me for fossilized shit that they made dice out of. He asked me, did I have any? I said, well, not currently, but I can probably check and see if I can find them. But
give me a week.
I'll make some. Give me a month.
There you go.
Well, Elizabeth has a dehydrator. All right.
I do, man. I'm not sure about shit. In fact, actually, I am sure about it. $20, eh?
Called recycling.
That's fair.
I'm just curious. I mean, number 1, it's okay. I want to know. I don't really want to know, but I kind of want to.
Elizabeth, when we're talking about this, you might want to go with A, B, C instead of number 1, number 2.
Okay, C. Did they actually squat over this bucket? I mean, is this total, thigh control?
I wasn't there when they did it, so I don't know if they squatted over it or they pulled it out of the toilet or pooped in their hand and put it. I don't know.
Hey, Chris.
How did they find out that they did it?
Because when you return stuff, they have to open it to make sure.
Well, then why didn't they just grab that person by the throat and ask them, what the hell?
Okay, number 1. Hey. John, I don't think you're allowed to grab people by the throat.
Sure.
Although, I'll go with John. Or throw it at him. I don't.
They're not monkeys.
I just never occurred to me when I returned something to shit in it. No, I have this.
Well, now you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, he's half the battle.
But here's a clue. When you're shitting in it, don't do it if it's a see-through blister pack. It gives it away before they get it back. Experience speaking.
Did they wash their hands? Big.
It might have had some toilet paper floating in the top or something. Who knows?
I didn't open it to look.
Man.
Yeah.
I was not that curious. I took them at their word.
And by the way, hello, Chris. How are you? Let us know if you want to come on, or let us know if you're just viewing. Otherwise,
he's like, no, this is shitty. I ain't coming on here.
Mm-hmm. I also want to do this now that we have a few people here. It is Talk of the Tavern's 11th anniversary. I found the old business card with the MySpace address on it. It is our 6th anniversary of live broadcasting, with live streaming, whether it's audio or video, etc. Now, I do want to let you know if you guys like what you're hearing, click the share button just below the screen. Bring your friends in or your really easily offended enemies, whichever. Also, make sure you keep the notifications on so you know when we're coming and going off air. I said coming on air. Anyhow. Also, you can follow us on our Discord, on get the newsletter, etc. And don't forget, we're also available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spreaker, Stitcher, and you can support us, especially today on our anniversary, as Bob always does, and I don't mean this towards him. You could throw bits, you could subscribe, you can support us on Patreon, and by the way, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe for free. It costs you nothing, helps us out. I think that's the only advertising I have to do here. Bob says, my son worked at Target. They had an employee who was dropping turds in the aisle shelving. Took 6 months to catch him. They had a code number over the PA when somebody found one.
Wow.
So, did your son get in trouble for shitting in the shelves? Or was it you, Bob, when you went in to see your son at work? Thank you, Elizabeth. You're the bit leader for this month. Jules says at work we took Alzheimer patients to the all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. That was fun and interesting. I bet it was.
Wow.
So someone was shitting, leaving shit on the shelves in Target.
It looks like
That's classy because they put it on the shelf.
Did they mark it down at least?
Did they display it nicely? Finally caught him in the woman's bathroom trying to drop one in the female trash box. Andrea has just passed Elizabeth as our bit cheering champion this month.
That's all the bits I have from like the month, so I'm done. You could still beat me.
I had it for 2 minutes.
That's all I have.
You could still
They
win.
won't let me watch anymore.
Okay, Chris feels like he has to be on. So let me give me a second while I mess up the screen and bring Chris on. Chris should have just been able to pop in, I thought, but
Check his pockets, make sure it's not full of shit.
Chris, it's a troll-free zone. Troll safe zone in here.
There
The
we go.
very first co-host, right?
It is.
Yes.
Oh.
Hold on, I gotta rearrange everybody's names now. Because
Oh,
And we didn't even try to make you feel guilty.
What, were you like 3 years old when you were 11 years ago? What?
no, he was
he was
the
just an embryo.
before that. I didn't do
Oh.
co-hosts until I did live on air. When I was just doing the podcast stuff, there was no co-hosts.
So he's 10.
He's close to that. How old are you now? Show us in
I'm
this many.
32.
This many.
20.
He's this many.
He's 3 middle fingers and 2 others on the other hand. I gotta find John's name to add John's name now so everybody knows who everybody is. Jules says, have you done undead broadcast as well as live?
Yes.
Are you? Question answered.
Sounded good.
I know I've done the undead. They're not a screamer.
I've never done it.
Wow, I'm just gonna. Wow.
Did Elizabeth just say she's never done?
And undead.
Oh.
No, she's never done.
$20 is $20.
That's probably true too. Yeah, that's messed up.
Yay, bits from Bob.
Now Bob is a leader.
Well, I can have it. I had my glory.
Oh, remember the good old days, Elizabeth, when you were bit leader. Oh, how you partied.
It seemed like 10 minutes ago.
It's funny too. I haven't been getting any bits. I haven't been watching any bits recently, and it won't let me get any more.
Yeah, it won't let me either. I'm like,
The other day, I went on and I got like 700 bits from watching videos in a couple hours. And there they sit, waiting for Andrea's channel tomorrow.
I've
Oh,
never
tomorrow's-
gotten 700 bits. Good lord.
That was
tomorrow
persistent.
is superheroes. I'm so excited.
Now, sadly, we won't have John for a couple of weeks, but John will be with us on Thursday still doing the steampunk thing.
So
I'm
we're
looking forward to
transitioning
that.
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to be
Yeah.
ladies' night and a monkey.
Oh, yeah.
After
Yeah, well,
And
it'll be Taco Tuesday.
yeah, well.
Taco.
With butter.
I gotta do
Well, I can
this.
always judge you if they get done early, but they
Well, with the superhero game,
like
it's-
11 o'clock last week, so.
No
this-
worries.
with the superhero game, it should be pretty easy to work you in whenever you want to show up. Just because you can teleport, so
Yeah.
And we play really well together. Got teamwork going. you know.
Yep,
You
I
just
can
get
change
past
traffic lights and yeah.
Not what you're looking for.
Oh,
Put not in front of it. That's okay.
Chris is just staying quiet because he has totally bailed on gaming with us.
That's not true.
Okay, he games World of Warcraft with us.
He does.
And if we played at 11 at night, I have no doubt he would join us for a tabletop also.
Do you want to play WoW tonight?
yes.
It's been a long day. It's gonna be a long day tomorrow.
So that's a
So
yes?
I doubt it.
Oh.
Oh.
That's a maybe. We'll see.
Well, here's the thing. We did not do an opening toast, and Chris has not introduced himself.
Oh, yeah,
yet
Chris.
And told us
What's
his
your
vices,
vices?
so let's do that.
I'm drinking the Dansk Viking Blood Mead.
Whoa.
You should pause so we can hear the comma between, like, Viking blood, comma, mead, as opposed to Viking blood mead.
I mean,
Whatever.
same difference.
I guess so. Who am I? Well, here's to 11 years, folks. And here's to you for hanging out. For any
Here,
part of
here.
that.
We're here. And 11 more.
Mm-hmm. Good times. Now, we do have a topic tonight, which will,
We might talk about.
yeah, I think we will. It's, because, now, I know Elizabeth, of course, is an animator, an artist, etc. Hey, Drop, how are you, buddy?
Awesome.
Indeed.
John is an illustrator, and, John, do you work with, animation at all?
Well, I helped Disney set up their computer animation.
So,
Before Epcot
a little.
So, a little bit.
Yeah. Which, by
Back
the
when
way,
the Amiga was, doing Babylon 5 and that type of stuff.
you know, I
This is
still
video
have never
first
seen
finished.
Babylon 5.
I've seen a little here and a little there. I mean,
hear-
I know Billy movies, so I mean, I usually go in and see the stuff that he was telling me about. So I just never could quite. I guess I never saw the right episodes to want to continue to watch it.
I've heard it's the best sci-fi that was out there up till possibly very recent, with the Orville and the new Star Trek. That there might be something finally better than it.
Really?
Yeah, better than Farscape,
like
better
that
than
one.
Star Trek, etc.
Mm.
Now, Chris, what about you?
I could never get into it.
Yeah,
No.
it was great for its time. I believe. I liked Next Generation more than it. I thought
Okay.
it was more polished and.
So, Chris, what about you with animation or illustration? Do you draw? You ever do any animation?
Yeah, and I used to do a lot of drawing and painting and that sort of thing. I haven't had time recently. And one of the things I picked up for lighting design in college was using white charcoal on black paper and drawing essentially learning to draw in inverse,
Right.
where you're actually adding the highlights rather than like charcoal or a pencil and adding shadow.
I have
Get
a,
some scratch boards so you can practice.
Mm-hmm.
there you go. I have a tattoo where they did that with the snow on branches. And
Mm-hmm.
so Dropsome says he's doing better, had to update a few things, but better now. What, like, updating your game? Tempe, how are you? Welcome
Hey,
to
Tempe.
the 11th anniversary show. So, there we go. I'm just throwing that shit around like it's spackling mud in a bucket that got returned.
God damn.
So, and Andrea, what is your experience with animation, illustration, etc.?
I've done stop motion and claymation. It's very tedious work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at the drawing, but the stop motion, yeah.
Ooh.
There we go. And I've drawn crappy art for a horribly offensive book of my own. Other than that, I'm pretty good at win, lose, or draw.
I wanted to do computer animation. It was one of those like life choices where it was like, I'm gonna go to college and I need to pick what I want to do because college deadlines are in a week, and I was like, I could go do this new computer animation thing that I have always had an interest in, or I can go back and do theater, which I know I like. Let's go that way.
Excellent choice.
Yeah. It's funny because today I got an email about new classes on lighting for like Pixar type lighting for animation. It's a new class, so.
They're the ones that get paid the most
Yeah.
out of everyone because
Computer animation isn't really my thing. I don't know much about that, so.
I was learning it first semester in, and I was in a horrible car accident.
Ooh.
And I had to sit in a chair with the screen where there's nothing but buttons. And they're all like this big. I was trying to lean forward and read it. And I made it through the semester, made my tunnel, and then that was never just probably should have done. Probably would have had a lot more money.
Well, I know computer animation's always changing and evolving, so it's a lot to keep up with.
I just never found it as satisfying drawing.
I want to give
Too
a quick
much detachment.
You want to give a quick what?
Hi, Nixie. Okay. Whew. Just trying to say hello to people that came in. Bob says he's dabbled with painting with certain body fluids.
Yes, he
That's
does.
the animation.
Now we know who returned the.
They can put it in the bucket.
That's right. Nixie, glad to have you pop in and say
God.
hello. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate that. It's
Wish you weren't here before, hearing about the shit bucket.
Shit
Yeah, I came
bucket.
in the middle of that. I'm not sure I want to hear the whole thing.
well, it didn't start with "you look like the piss boy" and "you look like a bucket of shit." That wasn't.
Andrea got really pissed off at work.
As she do.
Well, I'm not pissed off enough to shit in a bucket and return it. Ew, people.
I mean, would you be pissed off, or would you just
It's
be
actually
a little screwed up, a little evil?
it's a good
Oh,
question.
I would probably have gotten fired because I would have said what to the person and called the police because.
Do you think it was a guy or a girl?
Oh hell, I don't know.
My money's on guy.
Actually, if I had caught him before they walked out, I would have had him arrested because that is a health hazard. That
It
is
is.
a biohazard. And by the way,
and you
Drops.
have the DNA to prove it was them.
Hell yeah. That's why when I was a cook, I'm like, people will say, oh, well, you'll spit in my food. No, I will never leave DNA in your food, but it doesn't mean I won't drop it on the floor. Be nice to your servers, people.
Dropsum says had to update graphic card and a few other on the PC. Better now, things are going good. Drop. What I need to know here is, do we look good? We look good, right?
Yeah,
That's really
we
all
do.
I'm worried about. Just, we look good. Yeah,
Mhm.
baby. That's all that matters. The rest of it, World of Warcraft, it could be like huge, chunky boxes, but we look good. That's
He
it.
looks good.
That's right. That's right. There's John's junk just over his shoulder. See, this is why we call him White Ed, because he could put his junk over his shoulder.
Yeah, you can.
Hurts when you step on it, though. It does.
Well, I try not to step on your junk.
That's
Especially when you're not even at the store. All the way over here?
When I walk out into the living room and
what is that knocking at the door? Oh my God. We're 30 miles away. I teleported it there. They just got a new power.
Oh, that's funny.
he can teleport his junk.
Yeah.
That's got to be worked into the story on our Tuesday night Marvel stuff.
But the only thing it could do when it arrived is act like a door knocker.
That would be a new power stunt. Indeed.
Wow.
still, like, what could possibly be going on in someone's mind that they think, I know there's room in this whatever
still on it.
container.
Oh my god.
Let's return it full of shit. I just can't.
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to read Dropsum's comment here, but then I want to come back to what would one of you or all of you have to go through to shit in a 5-gallon bucket of drywall mud and return
It wasn't 5 gallons. And it wasn't full of shit.
Wait a minute.
It was still.
It wasn't even a 5-gallon bucket. They put it in a smaller bucket. Wait. Let me read the comment. Then we'll get back.
Like 3 gallons or like a little 1 gallon.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Drop says I did a few things with drawing and painting. We'll be right back to all these comments. But done a good handful of things before I left high school. All I can say is I learned everything you need to know about the trades. He won. Achievement unlocked.
Is that a trade?
You know how when you buy a Stella Artois and then they make a head on it and they take that little knife and they go, and you think they had to do that with the shit bucket?
Okay. How big was this bucket of drywall mud with poo in it?
I think it was like 3 gallons, but it wasn't full of the poo. They used some and then replaced it so they could return it.
It's getting worse. Okay. You can see it. Like, okay, well, I want to return it, and it needs to be about the same weight. So what can we possibly put in this?
Somebody's holding a gold idol and a bag of sand, and they're like, no, not that, Indy. Put that down.
Gravel? No, that's too heavy. It has to be something with the density and kind of
maybe the same consistency.
What could it possibly be?
Did they have to change their diet just to make sure it was came out the right way?
See, I would have asked these questions if I knew who did it.
Remember that scene in the first, like, Raiders of the Lost Ark when he's going to get the idol and he's kind of weighing the back and he's putting sand in and sand out?
Oh.
Now, you better watch out because one of our viewers might have been the person that did it.
Well, John, you better check those comics when they bring them back.
But you already told me
Why are
I
these
can't kill
pages
people,
stuck
so
You can kill them, just don't grab them by the throat.
I see.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Just don't put them in a 5-gallon bucket of drywall mud and return them to Lowe's because they open those things later, I have heard.
Oh, okay, I can see it. Okay.
Dehydrated.
They don't open it right away, right?
Oh,
It's
God.
just sitting there with all the other objects that they get through to the end of the day, all the other returns. And they're just walking around the office like, something smells like shit. God.
Oh.
And I have an answer.
You didn't put it back on the shelf for somebody else to buy.
If you were stuck in traffic and, and you had to go and there's nothing else, I would excuse that because you could snap that lid back on, airtight, boom.
I'm just wondering how you get it under you while you're driving, or do you like sit next to your car and squat over it?
You use your thigh muscles and you rise up out of the seat.
You use your thigh muscles. Oh my god.
Just fine, and then throw it away. No, they
You
had
know
to return it to
what?
the store. That's amazing.
See, I drive a stick and have to keep one foot on that clutch or my car's gonna die.
But you better use your thigh muscles.
Stuck in traffic. If you're in neutral and you have the foot on the brake, it's in neutral. You're just idling. You can do it.
You know what? Because
then
this
you
show is about animation, this needs to be an animated short.
We could.
The poo bucket.
Yes.
No one would believe it.
Just
No
open
one.
it up with the return and then flash back to how it came to be. By the way, Andrea, I'm
Yeah.
curious now, with your superhero ability of being able to use your gravity control to fly over the city, has your character ever
God.
dropped trowel and shit on someone?
No.
Okay, we've
It
got
will.
tomorrow night.
She's classier than that, thanks.
But you could be like a bird and just. Whose day do I want to ruin? Yeah, that guy.
And then afterwards,
Now,
just
I
like
can't
toilet
say when
paper
I
falling on him.
levitated when I levitated the saber-toothed cat, I can't say that didn't happen. It was a little scared.
Yeah, that's what.
Flaming poo. Flaming poo attack. You could do it from above. Right?
Oh my God! I'm not setting it on fire.
Not the poo, the bag it's in.
Now I gotta do it in a bag. What? Wildlife flying? Oh God.
Guess it would be no. Wait.
That's something your kids would do, Mia.
It's rain and poo. Hallelujah. It's rain and poo.
No.
It's better than menstrual juices.
All right.
Other things. Ugh.
Really, that's where you're going to draw the line?
Who, me?
No, Elizabeth.
Well, everybody poos. I mean, you get to. Everybody poos.
Everybody bleeds if you stab them enough.
By the way, Dropsum says, well, I can say working on a work site, you see a lot worse than that.
Yeah, but this is retail.
This is a store.
Somebody returned a bucket of drywall mud after shitting in it.
It's something extra. Yes.
Although, maybe when they got back to wherever they were using the drywall, the guy in charge is like, hey, did you see that bucket? You weren't supposed to return that one. This is the one.
That would have
go back and get it? No! Don't
that would have been the mean thing. Go back to their house, whoever they were, and then drywall their house with their bucket.
Ew!
Hey, we came to help.
Hey, Skipper!
Jamin, I'm showing off 2 of your postcards earlier, and Jamin says, I killed a smart car a couple of weeks ago. It was spectacular. I imagine Jamin, who's not necessarily a thin man, leaping out of the bushes with a pocket knife onto somebody's smart car and stabbing it as they're driving down the road.
Oh, that's so funny.
Mighty hunter.
It's not a dinosaur. Put the knife down.
I just never felt the need to share my poo. I just have never thought, no.
Well, maybe down the road.
Give it time. Yeah, you're young.
Food part. I mean, who knows?
See, I'm imagining maybe they put their little kid's potty training seat on top of the bucket so they could kind of perch easier without having to worry about thigh muscles. You know that little seat that sits on top of the regular toilet seat? That fit okay on top of a 1 or 3 gallon bucket. You just
but putting Mr. Hanky inside somebody's bucket is really weird.
Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo.
I think
It's
it's
kind of, I mean, look at all these
just
cool emojis. Yeah.
I can't say much. We have poo pillows.
You might want to explain that, please.
My
Poo
brother.
emoji pillows. They were 50 cents at Walmart clearance, so I got some.
There's a reason why.
Is that some shit?
Yeah. They're right next to the Miskatonic pillows and the Star Wars, so it all works.
My brother has an inflatable raft. That's one of those.
Oh, it's a
So
floater.
There's poo in the pool.
Oh.
And I always think, flush.
So you see the whole pool go.
Unsinkable.
Well, something from Miskatonic U in the pool would be pretty cool, too,
Yeah.
as it came out.
Well, that would explain why there's shit in the pool.
Devoured the neighborhood and, you know, all the other things around it.
Like you do. That's funny.
I wonder if there's a chance that somebody watching doesn't know what the Miskatonic U reference is.
I don't.
H.P. Lovecraft, Cthulhu, he always used Miskatonic as a university in his horror stories.
There's both. Yeah.
Learn something every day.
So there you go.
There you go.
There you
Now, that's a fun role-playing game, too. Especially when you have the person who decides they're going to make a combat character. So we just say, well, you're going to be the first dead person. We're not fighting these things. We're trying to survive, not dying from them.
They did learn that on the steampunk monster hunting game that sometimes not fighting is the better option. Or if you're gonna fight, have a gun as opposed to
Just
a lead pipe.
Run.
First thing you learn in the police academy, cover up.
Gird your lines.
Yeah.
And if you're going to return something, fill it with.
Just a little.
Oh my God. That's today's lesson, children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like a sign of retardation. Start playing.
Well, there's not much to do out here, so people entertain themselves some way.
What are you drinking, Chris? Did you? Oh, that's mead.
The Viking blood.
Okay.
Ew.
It looked darker than most.
It's
Blood
a very dark amber.
Yeah.
It's a blood mead.
Viking blood mead.
Oh,
Bob says maybe I should send all of you some Christmas buckets.
Nope. That's okay, Bob.
I just want to know if it's going to be red and green when we open it, because...
Mr. Bucket.
Oh no, Toey, you'll be so sorry that it is working for you now.
I was ready to say. It's only downhill from here.
At least he didn't offer to send you a bunch of malted balls.
No, but he did send us some fudge.
Maybe.
He did. That's a true story right there. That's
Yeah.
true.
From
Is it made
Michigan.
on an island?
Yeah, actually,
Oh, cool.
in Michigan.
Yeah.
Is there something special about island fudge that the rest of us need to be educated on?
Up in Michigan, they have a place up there in an island. They make really good fudge.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Good.
so they're
Mackinac
good
Island.
fudge pack.
We have like 10 minutes before our history hour, which I guess I'm doing.
You are. You're in charge of that one.
So I'm going to get something to drink. I will be back.
More poo.
That's a solid, not a liquid. Well, I guess it could be a liquid. Never mind.
Give it time.
Carry on.
Oh, you're going to need one of those Slurpee straws in case it's chunky.
That's what we use as a spork.
Well, there's dinner gonna come back soon.
Does anybody else need to take a quick break before we go into the second hour with This Week in History?
Yeah, I'm going to go back.
I should get the bottle of Viking blood. Because I'm almost out.
There you go. I'll do the announcements then. Guys, I want to remind you that you can get the notifications. Just make sure you leave them on for when we go live on air. We are broadcasting pretty much 7 days a week for 8 to 12 hours a day now. So make sure you join us, pop in, have conversation no matter what we're doing. Also, share just below the video, and follow that newsletter or join us on Discord for chat when we're not on air. Don't forget you can support us by throwing bits, donating money by clicking Tip Your Tavern. All that, 100% of it goes to us. Purchasing merchandise, Des.
It is.
Good to see you. Or you could subscribe for free with Amazon Prime. No cost to you. And don't forget, when we're not on air, you can catch us on Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, YouTube, iTunes, or iHeartRadio. And we appreciate all the support you guys throw our way. Thank you so much.
And when we're not live
years.
here, we're on my channel, Tuesday through Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, for tabletop gaming.
If you can't chew it, it ain't worth drinking. Don't say that after we just mentioned putting poo in drinks.
Oh.
But yeah, it is our 11-year anniversary, 6 years of live broadcasts, and the years before that were pre-recorded. So there we go, 11 years. And Chris was my first co-host
Yes,
on the
he
live
was.
broadcast. Well, really ever. It's
Way back pre-beard and mustache.
Yeah, he had the handlebar mustache before I did.
Well, yeah, because I grew it for the show, and then had our viewers name him.
What's the name?
He's Sir Reginald.
You're talking about your mustache, not your penis, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it is Talk of the Tavern. You never know.
That's fair.
Okay, I've got to read this because there's a great autocorrect in it.
Oh, God.
Jamin says 12,000 pounds of steel traveling downhill at 45 mile per hour broadside smart car who ran red tube light. Autocorrect. Shot the car down the road like a hockey puck and flipped it into a ditch. The body panels basically disintegrated on... And by the way, he also corrected his autocorrect and he says red tube light, not red tube light.
Like you do.
Well, I mean, if porn is coming down at you at 45 miles per hour...
Well...
Good times, good times.
Definitely.
Yep, red light, yeah.
Red light.
Caught something. No, it's dead now.
What do you got, Elizabeth?
Jerk.
Beef
Oh,
jerky.
I thought you were muted.
It's the beef jerky I made this weekend.
Oh.
You mean you didn't just go to a gas
Next,
station, open it
dehydrated
up,
poo
and try to return
dice.
it?
I'm not sure much would
Do
be
you
left.
make coprolite dice? Is that what I'm hearing?
Dehydrated poo dice, yes.
Yes, we talked about that earlier.
Petrified
So you
poo.
can polish. So you can polish your.
Oh, God, you have some?
I had coprolites on my shelf.
Yes.
You had what?
Coprolites.
Coprolites. That's
Dinosaur
fossilized
poo.
poop. Yeah.
I thought you said cobra lights. And I'm like,
Yeah, me too.
how's that relate
Oh.
to fossilized poo?
Oh, no, he had it. Ha!
G.I.
Does it-
Joe, cobra light.
Does it taste like jerky?
Don't do it.
Be a little crunchy.
Ew.
I was gonna say I can't ever say I've licked a fossil, but that's not true. I have.
What was her name?
Jennifer.
Grandma?
Grandma.
Yo, mama.
Could be. Chris, my mother says call her.
From what I've heard, no thanks.
Oh, this
Actually,
is
after the
gone
stroke, she
really
said,
bad.
"Come."
What happened today? Today in history? Are we there yet?
No, we're
Are
not
we
there
doing-
yet.
we got 5
No,
minutes.
We got 5 minutes.
I'm sorry.
So we can either talk about animation for 5 minutes, or we could just talk more about licking fossilized poo.
The poo bucket.
You could. Maybe, Jamin says maybe he was watching porn, and that's why I ran the red light. It'd make more sense if he ran the red tube light.
It happens.
He was obviously pooing into a bucket.
With one foot on
Using
the
those
clutch.
thigh muscles.
I need lighter fluid.
Wow. Just,
Has anybody heard from Kevin, by the way, speaking of pieces of poo?
no. No.
Because
No.
I sent him a message and I haven't heard from him. So if any of you hear from him, make sure he's doing okay. Where's Victoria? He didn't run away with her, did he?
Who knows?
I don't. I know that.
I don't know.
Kevin, if you show up, I'll give you a magic card. We'll see if he shows up.
I miss my fellow wanker.
He's the best wanker.
I moved all my magic cards today from one room to the other because they're part of the library. They're on the shelves. And,
The
Yeah.
library.
library. I'm going
The
through-
library.
Right there.
I'm gonna shit in a bucket and mail it to you. But don't worry, I'll include detailed instructions of how I did it.
Oh.
You know what? Sometimes my life up here, that might be a good day. Getting a bucket.
At least I'd have one video that went viral on YouTube, right?
Oh god. Well, it might go viral on RedTube, you know.
Might.
2 drywallers, 1 bucket.
Oh, ew, nope. Oh my god.
It could be. Andrea, your little steampunk spaceship behind you looks like it's got 2 cucumbers sticking out of it.
It does.
Yeah.
It's not a steampunk spaceship, for one.
It is. Well, it's a steampunk bug ship. John gave it to me.
It's no,
Go ahead,
it's
Chris.
It's an ornithopter.
Yeah. It's a thornicopter.
Whatever. It's awesome. I'm gonna hang it from the ceiling eventually.
Yeah, I was trying to collect a lot of the smaller ones of those, and then
Can you hold it up to the camera?
it's been my favorite magic set in several years.
How many of the small ornithopters would you like? 100?
I mean, sure.
All right.
Oh,
You're
that's
talking about the one that was in the pre-release kit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I have plenty. I'll send you some.
Ain't that awesome?
That is very cool.
Drop them your address. It's, what are these?
My child will probably be bugging you for lighting tips and stuff for the video room.
Sure.
So, Andrea, I have
Mhm.
a question though. How are you going to fit shit in there?
It
not?
shoots it.
No, but my Star Wars character, or was it Star Wars? It was one of my characters had a goat pellet poo
It was your
shooter.
Tefra character, your steampunk
Oh,
character.
my
and it shat-
Tefra, my steampunk Tefra character.
It didn't shoot goat pellets, it shat goat pellets. Hold on a second, we got this going on now.
Oh.
This week in history.
So, Andrea,
Okay.
what happened this week in history?
Shit happened, y'all. All right.
Yeah,
Nah.
bucket.
It did. Oh my god. All right. So I'm not exactly sure how Ed does his, but I googled this week in history,
That'd be a
and
good video.
it's called thehistoryplace.com. So here's some history. October 1st, 1908, Henry Ford's Model T, a universal car designed for the masses, went on sale for the first time.
Was that the first smart car?
Yes.
Brilliant.
And the first accident happened 2 hours later. But they were too busy doing porn.
The thigh muscles.
On RedTube.
I wonder how
The
long
first
after
accident that happened in New York was because the guy was looking at 2 ladies walking down the street. He wasn't paying attention and crashed into a light bulb.
And then
Oh.
he shot his pants.
And put it in a bucket.
And
No,
insurance.
was the traffic light, or traffic signal, I should say, not light, was the traffic signal invented before cars?
After.
Well, you know how they had like the red and the green panels that went up or down?
Mm-hmm.
Because they might have had those for
For
cities with,
trains.
well, for trains, for wagons and horse and wagons.
But I don't think they had them on the street.
Mhm.
Where'd they have them? Not in the bathroom.
Well,
Railroad crossings. Who knows?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Okay,
Okay.
what else happened?
October 2nd, 1968, California's Redwood National Park was established. Redwoods are the tallest of all trees, growing up to 400 feet during a lifetime that can span 2,000 years. Let's see.
Something else happened October 1st.
Hmm.
Talk of the Tavern aired. And 6 years ago tonight, Talk of the Tavern
It
aired
did.
live as Sounds of Steam. Which later, Wendy and I did a sexy intro.
Mm-hmm. And you used that for a while.
I did.
Let's see. I'm going through like maybe each day of the week. October 3rd, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued a proclamation designating the last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving Day.
When did they do it before that?
I don't know. Whenever the hell they wanted.
Was it just like
But this
willy-nilly,
way
I got a
it's-
turkey, better thank me?
Yeah.
Now for Thanksgiving, I know we're having John and Elizabeth. Chris, we invited you. Were you joining us?
Probably.
You have family.
I need to check some things, but I'll let you know.
Are you bailing on your family?
I mean, none of them are around, so.
Oh, wait. Should I say I'm sorry or should I say good for you? What happened?
No, they're just. My parents will be out in Arizona by that point.
Had them deported?
Sure.
Deported to Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll be working at that prison where they got to wear pink.
Pink underwear?
No, the whole outfit is pink.
If you want to get rid of someone, that's true. It is the kidnapping capital of the world.
Is it really?
Especially Phoenix.
How do you know that?
Why are you telling everybody now he can't send them there?
Well, it's not like they're watching the show. And they're already going. So.
Oh.
They live out there 9 months of the year.
Do they really?
Where?
In Quartzsite.
Right on.
For all you people trying
Like-
to kidnap them, there you go.
2 hours northwest of Tucson.
Right.
Maybe they didn't
Right.
move out there to be kidnapped. Maybe they moved out there because their hobby needed a more accepting state for what they do.
Look,
Kidnapping?
get drywall buckets here. What do they got?
If that hobby is wander around the desert looking for rocks, then yes.
Well, they probably want to add a lot of turquoise.
Is that what the Jews were doing when they for 40 years? I'm sorry. Is that too soon? Too soon?
Penny and have to go find it.
I lost
They
my
gave
keys.
the wrong guy the map. He lost the map.
They were looking for fossilized poo dice.
Okay.
Anybody got a bucket?
And October 4th, 1957, the space age began as the Russians launched the first satellite into orbit.
Was there anything on it, or was it just like a bucket?
It was a bucket of shit.
Spunk. It was spunk.
Spunknik.
Ew.
That's what they named it.
It was.
Nikolai, quick, pull this thing
Russian
into the
for
bucket. We send it into space. Call it Spunknik.
Chipnik.
No, that was the second one.
Oh.
That was number 2.
Indeed.
Hey, Andrea, just so you
welcome.
know, we're almost through with This Week in History, and it's only 6 after. We got to stretch
We
this
are?
shit. I don't
Not
know.
almost.
Andrea's like, I've got a whole website. We ain't done till I say we're done.
I'm just going through each day.
Okay. Of October?
Well, of this week.
Okay.
Um,
What else?
October 7th, 1765, the Stamp Act Congress convened in New York City with representatives from 9 colonies meeting in protest to the British Stamp Act. See, where's our Brit?
I know.
Which imposed a direct tax by the British Crown upon the American colonies.
I feel like we need more colonies in the world. There's really no place we can go colonize in the world anymore, is there? We kind of like,
Not so much.
everybody kind of owns every piece of land and water or
Well,
something.
there's still some. You just gotta.
We can make our own islands. China does.
They made an island?
Abu Dhabi
There's
does.
lots of
Yeah,
Abu Dhabi, yeah.
Abu
Lots
Dhabi
of
make
islands.
It's
awesome
actually really
islands.
nice looking. Very cool.
Islands, floating fortresses of hell,
Yeah.
They're all military installations.
I don't want to be in the military.
Would
It's
you want to
fun.
live on an island, though?
I've lived on an island. When I was up in Michigan, I lived on an island.
I think I'd rather live on a mountain than an island. Though an island, technically, I guess, is a mountain.
Well, I mean, Kevin lives on an island, and it's really nice.
It is. I just worry about hurricanes. Growing up in Florida, I'm like, I don't want a tropical island because hurricanes. What are you
Well,
going to do?
not
Run
an
to the other
island. It was
side?
one palm tree. Bigger than that. Jeez.
I live on an island.
You do. You do. It's
Long.
It should-
It's long.
It's sinking.
It's shitty.
Just call it the bucket.
See,
They don't even waste time with Bucket Island. They just shit on it.
we spoke her
Sidewalk.
name and she showed up long enough to say she's not showing up. Hi, Victoria.
Oh.
Do you
Wow,
have
we
Kevin
should work this shit in the
strapped to
bucket.
the bed? We can't find our Kevin.
That's why she's not showing up.
It could be.
I was watching Parks and Recreation, and the main character was going through a funk, and she was saying everything. Oh, they were going over her credit card orders, and then they were saying, "Do you authorize?" Found some weird activity on your credit card, and the things that they were reading, she did order, but she was getting embarrassed, and they were getting worse and worse. And one of my favorites was the bucket of cake.
They have a
Remember
bucket
that.
cake.
Hold on.
Because the first one was like a bucket of popcorn and a bucket of cake.
I've only seen 4 episodes of that show.
It's good times.
It's funny. Good dialogue.
I'm going to.
Well, here's
check-
another good time.
Hold on. Before we, I'm stretching this shit out.
I was trying to lead in with that because this was no. Okay,
Oh, well,
what?
I gotta look up bucket of cake for you on Amazon. Hold on, I put bucker of cake. And,
A bucker of cake.
Motherfucker.
by the way, it also autocorrected to bucker of balls, which I'm really curious what the fuck a bucker of balls
The
is
red
now.
too.
Bag balls.
I'll be right back.
Okay, he's got to lock
I'm
up.
gonna close up.
He's got to go get his bucket balls.
What is a bucker of balls?
I don't know, but it's on Amazon.
Oh, apparently it's a misspelling of bucket, and they're tennis balls.
It's bag balls.
Yeah, it's a bucket of cake.
Oh God.
Okay. Well, there's a champagne ice bucket resin cake topper. Oh, no, this is cool. It's a bucket of pirate action figures with boat, treasure chest, cannon, shark, and pirate ship.
Yeah,
you on
I see
Amazon?
that. I may need to buy that.
I've got bucketcake.com. Scoopable
Oh my God, there is a
cake
bucket of cake.
ready to go.
You win.
Yeah, bucketofcake.com. Oh,
How much?
I need that.
Let's see. Let's order. Need a cake in a hurry? Bucket cake is grab and go.
I
need to
prefer
grab and
the
go.
bucket of daiquiri with the little. You just add the alcohol and freeze it, and then you got a little spout in it, like you
Oh,
pour.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
I want it to come with alcohol. I don't want to have to do any work. God.
I sometimes
Actually, there
come
was
with
a
alcohol.
really good barbecue place in Fresno where it was the first time I ever was introduced to a bucket of beer. And most places now you get a bucket of beer, but ice beer.
Right.
This was a bucket full of beer. That was your pitch.
That's kind of cool.
Was it a 5-gallon bucket or a 3-gallon bucket?
5. It was
Five?
big. Well, there was a 3 and a 5. We got the 3, and then in the middle of the restaurant was a big cloth, 2 bathtubs and a faucet so you could wash your hands as much as you needed because the barbecue was.
I kinda-
But now,
Shit in it.
Ever since then, and whenever I see a bucket of beer, I always look over hopefully.
See, and they put like the 6-ounce bottles in there now. They're not even like 12-ounce bottles of beer. They're like mini bottle. I'm like,
And it's like $30 for like 6 beers.
Just tap a keg. You'll be all right.
I wonder how much a bucket is.
I wonder if we should get a mini keg or a half keg when Elizabeth comes here for Thanksgiving.
Well, I already looked around and I didn't see them at that one store, but there is a store in Richmond that's specialized.
I feel like we should do it right.
Kegs of beer, not like Budweiser.
Like a little pony keg, like a pony.
Oh, they're so adorable.
Here's what I think. We should wait till we can afford it, and then just get like the keg fridge with Guinness in it. That way we could just keep replacing it and forever have like, yeah.
To get Guinness, it takes a special tap.
It does. Yeah. It has to have a ball in it.
Yeah.
Okay, well we could do a lager. We could do something else. I'm just saying, it'd be cool to not have to buy bottles anymore.
I think it's a fabulous thing about a keg is you do have to drink it because it isn't perfectly solid. It is somewhat airtight, but it gets in the tubes.
Right.
Well, then you'll just have to fucking drink it.
Do you want me to be able to speak while I'm there, or do you want me passed out in the middle of your floor?
We want to
Either
know
way, we'll
that
record
when
it.
she
It's
yells
all right.
action, she means she's trying to get us to do something on film, not that other stuff she does when yells action.
Hey, just leave me prop me up next to the keg with my bucket cake.
And then I get my own bucket cake. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not sharing that.
We worry once you're done, you're going to fill the bucket back up, not with beer.
And
or
air
cake.
mail it.
Then you'd be like, I'm ready to go to Lowe's.
And then you'll run through the aisles with the axe, giggling.
Oh, I had an idea, guys. So,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, we have started doing this on
Bucket now.
Thanksgiving. We started going to Walmart at 6 o'clock on Thanksgiving for their Black Friday sale. Do you want to go to Walmart for their Black Friday sale and do videos of me like... What's that?
No, really, if it's not crowded, it's the best time to go.
Okay, wait. In the morning?
No. 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Thanksgiving
Thursday.
evening.
That's when they put out all their Black Friday
And we'll do
stuff.
videos. Andrea could take videos of like me with a DVD and a shirt running past and you like chasing me. And I'm like, my shirt! We do like Black Friday video.
DVDs on sale.
You know what? When I'm there, let's see what happens. I thought
We go
were
either
gonna
way.
I thought we were going to work on Thanksgiving.
That's not work.
We're not working. That's not work. That's just fucking hilarious.
Can you imagine piling Chris, Aaron, Emmy, you, John, all of us into a couple vehicles and going to take stupid videos?
We could all take my minivan. We'll all fit there.
Chris, have you seen the videos I do in stores?
Yes, I was watching through the reel that played the other day.
Okay. Yeah, it's we've done it with Elizabeth in Lowe's. She got to run with an axe
Yeah, we
while
did.
giggling.
I
That's my
did that one
favorite.
again. My camera jiggled too much.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
weird.
I think it's hilarious.
I'll do it if you guys want.
We'll see.
God.
We'll see
We're
how
gonna
we
be
feel.
So full of food. Oh. Wouldn't it be more adventurous to
You bring
actually
blood.
do it on Black Friday?
No, because all the good deals are gone. The way Walmart does it, they release certain things at 6 o'clock, certain things at 7, and certain things at 8.
I don't get anything because I don't give a shit, but he likes the DVDs.
Yeah, they have DVDs. They'll have like brand new release DVDs for like $8, and older DVDs for $1 or $2 each. And I like walk away with $70 of DVDs. It's a stack of DVDs. I'm drooling and licking things.
The way you are with that axe in the video giggling, that's how he is with damn videos.
I mean, I gotta stop at that like discount $3 or $5 bin every time I go through.
Yeah, well,
this
is
is like rows and rows of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you'll be getting like
You'll be happy.
Infinity War for $7 and stuff like that.
bring $5. You know.
We'll see how we all feel after eating it. The video might be me waddling past with a shirt and a DVD, and Elizabeth waddling behind me.
Me giggling.
I don't want
See,
Waddle.
Jewel says to be politically correct, it's African American Friday. Where's Bob? Bob, you want to talk on this one? White egg.
Can you have
do
a white sale on Black Friday?
We'll see.
Oh my God! Somebody clip that. Where's my viewers that can clip shit?
Oh God, don't clip the shit.
Oh.
Well, you gotta make it fit the bucket. You gotta...
I'm going on.
We're
October 8th, 1871, the Great Fire of Chicago erupted. According to legend, it started when Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicked over a lantern in her barn. Over 300 persons were killed and 90,000 were left homeless after the fire leveled 3.5 square miles, destroying
Who kicked over the lantern?
Mrs. O'Leary's cow.
As they do.
Damn heifer.
Oh, see, I thought they were blaming Mrs. O'Leary and calling her a cow.
No, just her heifer. Over 17,000 buildings were destroyed and over $2 million in financial losses.
And you said 90,000 people were homeless?
90,000 were homeless.
And what
And
city?
this is in 1871.
What city?
$200 million is a lot of damn money.
Chicago.
Huh? Chicago.
Because they had cows in Chicago 120 years
Just
ago.
one.
Just one cow.
Just Mrs. O'Leary's cow.
Well, they had
John,
more, but they burned to
are you-
death.
Are you okay, John? You look like you're being abducted by aliens.
Oh,
Oh, right.
it's so bright. Let me see if I can change the settings on the camera. I turned the store lights off and on the side.
What
Did
else
Bob
happened then?
leave? Bob, did you leave?
Well, there were birthdays.
We have birthdays?
Said your birthday.
I don't have birthdays, but I'm sure people were born.
Anybody die in the past week?
Oh, let me
I'm
Google
sure
that.
lots of people died in the past week.
Let's hope so, because fucking people, I tell you what.
Here we go.
Did it,
Recent notable deaths.
by the way, to really just interrupt and cut you off, I just got notification that I just did a tweet that I'm streaming on Twitch. Like an hour and 20 minutes ago, we went live, and here it is, just letting us know we're on it. Is it
I
on
don't know who
FB?
these people are.
Well, pick somebody you know. Don't tell us people we're not going to be like, so, John Smith died, huh? Poor John. John. See, that's why we call you White Ed, because you're black and white.
Chris
10%.
drinking. What? You were shrinking. Near. Far. That's a
I do that with my penis. And I run
I'm
at
like,
people.
stop!
Mine does it on purpose.
It's all like,
Hey, everybody, throw out your deaths this week. Let us know.
which one of you died this week? Let us know.
Let us know in the comments below.
Is it less alien-like now? Elizabeth?
Yes, it's better. Thank you.
You said use it less anally?
It was.
I can be black and white too.
You're like Michael Jackson mode. All right.
Indeed.
He's almost like, yeah, do a reverse. Hey, I just did history. You didn't say I had to do birthdays or deaths.
Oh,
I don't have Facebook, so I can't just go on Facebook because that usually tells everybody.
I know. Did
Everybody's
anything
birthday.
happen in the world? We don't have Facebook, so we don't know what happened in the world.
Yeah. Shit happened, y'all. Fuck if I know what it is.
Let's see here. Hold on, I'll
Miss
look it
you,
up.
Ed. Miss you, Ed.
No.
See, I looked up notable deaths. I don't know who those people are. Other than Burt Reynolds, but we discussed that already.
Yeah, it wasn't this week.
I guess
No, that was
he's
in September.
eastbound and down, huh?
That's a good song.
Eastbound down, road and trucking. We're gonna do things that can't be done.
I'm looking for famous birthdays. Okay, here's some famous birthdays. Let's see what we got. 1207, Henry III. Oh, let's look for somebody a little more recent.
Damn.
Anybody ever heard of Henry? They didn't even have last names back then.
Is that the guy that did the candy bar? Oh, Henry?
It could have been. It's hard to say.
Oh, Henry!
No, it's only.
Jimmy Carter has a birthday this week.
Who?
Born Jimmy Carter.
Is he
Yes,
dead? Is he still alive?
he's with us.
Yeah,
Oh.
1924. He's been around for a couple of years. Julie
Holy
Andrews.
shit.
Richard
bucket.
Harris.
Oh, shit.
He actually was in the Navy, just like me.
Oh.
Possibly with you.
I never got to meet the man.
No. Randy Quaid has a birthday this week. He was born in 1950.
I know who that is.
Let's see who else we got here. Who's some of the young bucks that were born? Ted King. Wasn't he Isaac on Love Boat?
He had that great little finger.
He had what?
Sivart.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Zach Galifianakis.
I know who that is.
By the way, if you guys haven't seen it, watch the Jerry Seinfeld show, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. He had Zach on there. It's amazing how much social anxiety Zach Galifianakis has.
If you haven't seen it, watch Masterminds.
Fart transplant.
Oh my god.
Sorry,
Okay.
spoilers. Okay. I don't think we know anybody else that was born today or have heard of anybody else.
Everybody that had a birthday today was born today at some point.
Oh, Brie
You're
Larson,
welcome.
who will be the next Captain Marvel. She was born this week.
Oh.
I'm a little worried about that movie.
Are you?
I'm a little bit worried about her actability.
Are you?
Oh.
Why?
Trailer.
Mm.
Well, the trailer.
It looks cool,
The trailer did look pretty awesome.
but then any line of hers is said or read. I don't know. I'm a little worried, but we'll see.
Now, when's the movie due to release?
Okay.
When is the movie due to
What?
release?
I have no idea.
I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't.
I'm just waiting for it. Number 2. It.
In a bucket.
You and number 2 tonight.
I'm number 2. I'm telling you, man, somewhere, and I cannot find it on YouTube, I saw like a sneak peek or something where they showed all the adults, and then I can't seem to find
March 8th for Captain Marvel.
Okay, so Captain Marvel, the bits you've seen are probably fucking screen tests instead of actual scenes with her.
I did not see a fucking. I saw a screen test, but there was no fucking involved. She was fully clothed.
Some people do it that way.
Don't you feel disappointed when you watch porn and they're fully clothed? They're just like genitals out and things pulled aside, and you're like, can you take some clothes off for this porn, please?
I don't watch porn. I'm sorry.
Well, there's always Thanksgiving. We could rate.
I'm coming anymore.
We could rate.
Porn, but I will watch it.
We could rate the acting. We could put the camera on us, put porn in the background, and just show our reactions and judging porn.
I had some friends do that with the pirate movie porn.
How was it?
I mean,
not good.
Yeah, it was porn, and they were dressed like pirates, like not even well-dressed pirates.
That's funny.
It was
Were they just
cabaret
wearing
level
an eye
costuming. Well, what eye did they put it over?
patch?
There's his head. He's
brown
got
one.
an eye patch. Oh. Okay, Henry. What else happened this week in history?
Nothing. Everybody died, or they were born. That's it.
Okay, let's talk about animation.
Thank God.
Now, in my mind,
Sorry.
animation was born probably thousands of years ago when we first started drawing on papyrus paper or whatever. And they figured out how to make a flip book, which, how many of us made flip books
Yes.
of stick figures in middle school and high
Yes.
school?
Yes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Good stuff there.
I did.
Yeah. And people were amazed that you had that much talent that you could create a flip book.
Just had that much time during class, you know.
Yeah. And it's in
Yeah.
the corner of your math book so the next year can enjoy it also.
Yes.
Oh, I love the one guy did it where the stickman fell all the way down the side of the paper and then sharks in the water. Well done.
Nice. Nice. You're like, why couldn't I think of that? And later he
Oh,
made
I
Sharknado.
added blood to it.
Nice.
Ooh, Lord.
Because you had a red highlighter or a red Sharpie. He didn't.
Well, it was penciling.
Way to chum the water.
That would be funny for a homicide detective movie. If it was a comedy. Take the dead guy and kind of pose him, and then take a picture, and then move him a little bit more and animate him. Do a stop motion thing with them.
So, like, Weekend at Bernie's him, but make a stop motion movie?
Yeah.
I was talking about this recently. I was teaching kids stop motion with Legos, and then I ended up tutoring one kid over the summer. This was in Smithfield, and he had just seen Attack on Titan, and so he wanted to do that with the Lego man. So we had him act, and it picks up a Lego man and screaming with his little legs, and then he eats them. And when he threw the body down, or when the head exploded or something, I was teaching him how to do blood splatters with red clay. It was really effective.
Fabulous.
I'm curious, how old was he?
11.
Okay, so we're looking at...
There's a science to blood splatters because the ends of the droplet point to the direction of initial contact. You know, we talk about it. Anyway, he's an Eagle Scout. He's not all screwed up. He's a good kid.
Okay.
So it's
what
part of the
year-
learning process. You're going to animate, you're going to animate. Let's do this.
I would have to say animation, film animation, probably started with our very first... Wasn't the very first movie the one with the rocket on the moon and it hit the moon in the eyeball?
Oh, the silent film, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been stop motion, right?
Back in the day, that's how they did a lot of their special effects, was they cut the film because they had to do stop motion because, yes. I don't think that was the first, but that's one of the more famous ones.
All right. All right. So I'm going to put in Twitch a link because I went ahead and looked up films. Now, the first one I'm going to put up with animation. Yes, Travis, you're right. They found cave painting initial attempts animation showing movement and people and animals running through trees and things like that, where it actually is situated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but here we go. There's been a lot of experimentation with animation. When I talk about it, when I teach it, if you break down the word, you get animus, which is soul, Latin or Greek, and motion. So you're creating movement and life. Motion and emotion are the same. So I just initially, which is funny because now we're moving people's.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The one I posted, this was in the late 1800s, and if you can see that, it's a Polish who moved back to Russia and started animating with bug carcass, and actually wax and glue, and animated full films with real bugs and stories. And you can see on the little link I shared how incredibly wonderful it is. What was his name?
There's another link you should share. The one to, I guess it's your IMDb or wherever you have your animated film.
Yeah, I will share that, absolutely. Okay, I'll share that. I'll be sure to share that. I wanted to share this because this is taking inanimate objects and giving them life. And he not only gave them life, he gave them personality and character. And the one film I showed is Mr. Beetle getting bored with his everyday life. So they create a show with his life. And I can't believe someone actually animated Dried Up Bug. Incredible.
Why not? That's awesome.
That was in 1870, I think, somewhere around there. But animation, I think one of my favorite earliest forms is shadow. That is very huge in Indonesia and the Philippines and the Eastern cultures. And no one is quite sure what shadow puppetry is. They would have a screen light projected on the back, and they hold up whatever they need to cast shadow. And these puppets usually, would tell stories of the ancient lores and myths, and it's really, really powerful. And some of their shows go on for hours. Very culturally.
Vietnam is known for their shadow puppet shows that are
I saw that on
3
Tropic Thunder.
Oh, there you go.
Because in college I took a history of puppetry class, and we spent several weeks on shadow puppets, and then I actually got to take a different class several years later that was exclusively on shadow puppets.
Wow, you really liked it, huh?
Yeah, well, I like puppets, so.
He does. It's he is. By the way, Elizabeth, Chris is. I don't know if you were here when I talked to him about it, but he has basically volunteered if we ever do another Jim Henson or Muppet episode, he'll be on for that because he's also passionate about them.
Well, I'm looking forward. I posted another link just for our viewers in the chat, and this is La Reiniger, and this is a female and German, and she brought shadow puppetry under a camera to a home, and she did
what era?
Numerous. I just happened to put a Sleeping Beauty link.
What era? What decade?
Early 20th century.
Okay. See, and I think this is interesting because you've kind of pointed out that animation may have existed before film. When you're doing shadow puppetry,
yes.
that is a sort of animation. So, just like the flick book in the corner of your math book.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one of the things that I love about it, I think we all do. I mean, I if I can't speak for Chris, but I love taking something inanimate and bringing it. I love that. And when people and getting a reaction.
Like Gumby. That was one of my favorites, the stop motion.
That was the
Gotta
whole
be.
plot of the Steampunk Crypto Mysteries game all last season.
Mm,
Taping
yeah.
something inanimate and making it animate. By the way, Elizabeth, can you change your camera just a little bit? You're like wandering out of frame there. Can you center yourself just a wee bit? We want to see your pretty face a little.
Ah,
There you go.
There you go.
Now it's you.
that's better.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah.
Because he has the frame on the Twitch screen, so.
Twitch. All right, cool. Cool.
And by the way, in case Gary has shown up yet, good to see you, buddy. If you want to comment or chat, you do have to sign in, or just create an account, and you have to follow the channel. If you're just watching, don't even worry about it, man. Just enjoy watching. We can talk about it later. It's I got a phone call from an old friend, and I just let him know what I was doing, and he said go in there now. So I figured by now he's had a chance to actually click on the link and arrive here. So
Cool.
it's anyhow, go on, Elizabeth. You were saying?
Oh, no problem. Okay. Where was that? I was saying, and then I'm completely, I forgot my train of.
You were talking about the
We're
second
talking about the
video.
Renegers.
This woman from
Okay,
the
that-
earliest 20th century.
Okay. Well, the bug guy was Ladislaw David.
That sounds like a name of a guy that would film bugs.
It's incredible. That's amazing. It is a little wiggly, and it's not the camera; it's the film. I believe that it was probably 16 frames a second or before. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to show Lot Reiniger because she's done incredible work. She did the Aladdin one, 1,000 Arabian Nights, extraordinary. They're quite old though, so sometimes the music, it is to enjoy it on today's ADD addicted. I mean, it's going to be a little different for some people, but you can see the magic of what you can do with just paper and light. And if you look at her work, the dark is dark and there's gray. She understood. She actually created the multi-layered camera that Disney stole or borrowed the design for. When you put the camera up and you have layer upon layer upon layer. She was the one that really developed. Very interesting. Okay.
Which is still used in modern animation, even Photoshop, where we now have layers.
And it's a real tricky situation because the more layers farther away you get from the sources, tone and color changes. And Disney is so good at what they do. They actually developed a color formula for what layers, so it speeds up the process. Painters can, when they used to do that, now it's all computer.
Right. But yeah, I
Yes,
guess
yeah.
with enough layers of cellulite between layer 1 and layer whatever they're up to, it's going to change it. Yeah. It's gonna
But I
filter
have
it.
to acknowledge what Andrea said. It is painstaking, and imagine this day they're on actual film. I have the luxury of being able to edit out film. I guess later on you.
Well, I was just looking at those links you did. The second one, the bug one is pretty cool. The second one with the shadow puppet, that reminds me of a scene in one of the Harry Potter movies.
Oh yeah. They describe some history kind of.
Yeah, the three brothers or whatever. Yeah, I love that stuff.
Have you seen?
I did too. That
Have
was
you
cool.
seen
That was
Kubo?
cool. Kubo.
That's an amazing movie.
Yeah, he bought that for me. I really like that.
Terribly underrated. It
Oh,
did
and-
not get the attention it deserved for the painstaking work into it.
It's a beautiful movie. Oh my god.
Oh, absolutely.
John, have you seen it?
I have not.
By the way, another good
It's
one.
on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still on
It
Netflix.
is. As of last week, it was. By the way, another one that's really good, Box Trolls.
Yeah, that was good. Same company.
Oh
Right.
yeah, and that's stop motion. That's
Right. It makes Andrea
It took
cry.
forever.
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When I saw the trailer for Kubo, and this shot. It was just the one shot of the monkey and the storm, and the fur was waving.
That, oh my God.
They animated the fur.
In stop motion.
And so
Yeah, that's
3 seconds a week they get done 3 or 6. And
Isn't
then
that
that
the reason we-
skeleton was 8 feet tall or bigger. It was like the biggest animated animatronic ever.
So that's another reason we need
Incredible.
to give a thumbs up to Tim Burton. As much as he makes a ton of money with his movies, he still goes back and makes stop motion animation.
I mean, The Corpse Bride wasn't my favorite story, but I did like the animation on it. James and the Giant Peach. I don't think that's Tim Burton, but James and the Giant Peach. That was awesome.
But we all do have a little special place for Nightmare Before Christmas, don't we?
Oh, yeah. That
Of course.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I've never met anybody
it's
who
the
hated
best holiday movie ever, 'cause you get to watch it twice a year.
What was that?
These kids are opening the Christmas presents and then trying to eat them and they're screaming. That is the best part.
I just love the whole premise of the different holidays and aspects. Uh-oh, something fell behind Andrea there. Like her curtain
Sure.
rod fell. I think she went to check on her other cat. I think the noise came from her older cat's room. Everything okay? Okay. We'll have to tell her that her sugar skull... By the way, Chris, I enticed... Hold on one second. I enticed Andrea by letting her know they have Day of the Dead stuff in World of Warcraft. So, Andrea, by
I
the way,
wore my sugar skull dress today.
your sugar skulls
Well,
fell. Look behind you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, is that what fell?
Well, that's one of the things that fell. That fell after the other thing fell, and you ran from the room.
Well, shit.
But with our horrible reception, it looked like stop motion animation.
It was.
On brand.
You're welcome.
Well done. Andrea leaves the screen and stop motion makes her shit fall. Not into a bucket.
Okay, so I would highly encourage anyone out there that really dig just the look of shadow puppetry, which once again, remember, it's flat. It's just paper, cut out paper, laying on glass, back in a little chocolate tinge for balance.
Right.
But it's amazing what you can do with that patient.
Well, I mean, there are ways you can get color in your shadow puppets.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, are you talking about with like modern computer animation doing it, or?
No, so like when I took one of my puppetry, the shadow puppetry class, we used a thin like plastic sheeting that you can get at like Home Depot or wherever, and ended up dyeing it certain colors with like essentially a fabric dye that ended up absorbing into the plastic enough that it stayed in, and then when you project the light through, it brings out the different colors.
Interesting. Which, by the way, I
Yeah.
want to interrupt everybody real quick. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Kara DP, thank you for joining us. Appreciate. Good to see you. I don't know if you're the friend I mentioned earlier or not, but either way, glad to have you along. Feel free to jump in the conversation about animation. And in 15 minutes, we go into our third hour, which is our highly inappropriate adult hour, which sometimes we skip
Yeah,
with the
not
topic.
anything that we've done already.
Yeah, nothing about the poo bucket has been inappropriate.
No.
No, not at all. It's,
Well,
okay. So anyhow,
cool.
go on,
And
Elizabeth.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that, Chris, because there's also people are very inventive and all types of. I love the sand animation.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
yeah.
And there's this one
What is
Canadian
that?
animator.
Tell us about that.
Oh, the sand. Here, let me find. So there's it's really popular now, but essentially you take an overhead projector type surface and people draw with sand and create a story, and it changes based on them
So
like layering the sand on the overhead projector.
It's almost like those magnetic things we used as kids, except you have multiple layers.
Kind of, you're backlighting it with light, right? Backlighting
Yeah.
the sand. So if it's a
yeah.
lot of sand,
This is
it's dark.
amazing.
If it's thin sand, it's lighter. And a few granules. And you use your finger or tool to draw on the sand and create
Interesting.
moving.
I'm posting a link in the Twitch chat.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Now, I won't check it right now, but I'll click on it and pause it so I can watch it later just because of our current internet. So I'll check it later.
Yeah, no, it is amazing the types of things that people do with the art, and you're like, where are they going with this crazy little line? And then like 10 seconds later, you've got like this giant eagle that they make like flap and blow away into the wind of sand and turns into like a person. It's insane.
I think somebody on one of those big like Americans Got Talent shows, I think it was in Russia, won one of their things doing it. It was gorgeous.
It was
and each time they would do different ones.
I was going to say, sorry, John. Each time it's obviously the European show because Americans wouldn't have the patience to sit there.
I was just about to say that. As much as I love the singing, the dancing, the stand-up, whatever else they do, there is so much more out there. You guys remember the TV show from the 70s? Well, some of you. That's Incredible.
Yes.
That was kind of the original America's Got
It was
Weird
incredible.
Shit They Can Do.
I thought that was the Gong Show that started that stuff.
That was a great show too. I love that.
Yeah. Wasn't that hosted by the guy that later did Doritos commercials where every time he bit into a Dorito some shit would break? I'm alone on
Apparently he was on Ukraine's Got Talent.
Okay.
Yeah, Ukraine. It was one of the Russian or Ukrainian.
It's huge. Stop animation, any kind of animation, huge in Eastern Europe. It's huge. So you're going to have a lot of
is that a Voyage Titanic one? Ooh, I got to watch this.
No, I went ahead and posted on Twitch. I figured we could roll through it and then give people a bunch of links, and then that way they'll have.
This is one that the
There you go.
skippers need to watch because it's about a dinosaur.
Right. That's Windsor McKay with Gertie. And this is an extraordinary thing.
Monsters and crunches in here somewhere.
Because what he did was he used animation to help improve his vaudeville act. And so if you go to that link, you'll see this cute, enormous dinosaur walking around.
Oh, we should show that to Ansa and Paulo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I've seen that before.
And he would stand on stage with the dinosaur and interact with her. And he had it all planned out and timed out because he animated it. So he knew, and sometimes it would cry, sometimes it would chase a stick.
Chase his what?
Extraordinary. Chase a stick.
Oh, a stick.
You guys are going to send me to the poorhouse showing me all this. Because I'm going to want to do it. I'm going to, get the stuff to put it in the back room and play with it.
Well, that's the hard part.
Paper and a pencil.
There's not a lot of call for this. There's not a lot of demand. So when you go into this incredible art form that's almost lost, and you revive it, it's really
fascinating.
It's swinging for the fence. Which, if you connect, you're going to have an incredible success.
But I think kids would love doing it. That's the whole thing.
I think you're very close right now. You just need to get the right kind of. You just build the model in 3D, and then the way animation is, they have all that animate, which I have not looked into because I'm busy doing other things. You see, the dancers do it on the American Idol. Their arm does this, and then the background fire.
Yeah, I've
They're
seen
still
those
doing.
ones.
Yeah, it's just different, and it's just it's magic.
It's evolved.
But you're taking layers of art and just sticking it together. Because think about it, he had to write, perform, draw, animate, timing, setup.
But I like with the sand and stuff that the kids actually get their hands into it and do that. Now, I would imagine that watercolors could probably do the same thing, or finger painting.
The nice thing about sand is And you can keep it contained, John. You can easily, for kids, just make a little plexiglass container that fits right over the light box. I like it because it's temporary. As children, we always think every drawing has to count.
Well,
They have to
we
be perfect.
had a thing that was temporary. We had this great big huge magnetic board, and we had colored magnets they would come in and make artwork with.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then you can just change it around and move it around and put different dots and different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just take a picture of it every time they do. Every time something moves, take a picture and see what happens.
We're going to try maybe something like that up in MarsCon, where the whiteboards that you can erase and do the coloring and artwork on. So.
The trick is if you wanted to animate it and to make it as good as possible, hold your camera still. Have a place where it can go. Either you hold it to always click, so that doesn't become a distraction.
Right.
Unless you want. Cool. All right.
Man, I could watch these standards for hours.
Mm-hmm. I think I still have, because my kid, when he was younger, I showed him Gumby and stuff, and he saw Lego stuff. He wanted to make his own stop motion, and I think I still have his first little video, 10 hours to do 30 seconds.
Because that's.
But he was in his room doing his.
Well,
wow, that's really fast. Really, that's pretty fast. All right. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so then once again, you can't talk animation without getting to Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good place.
Japan.
Either one is a good place to kind of move the topic.
All right, hang on. I'm putting up 2 of the silly symphonies. The first one is the spring trees and something.
Oh, I remember this one.
And the other one is the skeleton.
Oh, the skeleton's a famous one.
They both are.
Well, the skeleton, especially around this time of year.
Yes, well.
Especially.
Absolutely.
I love the look of wonder on Elizabeth's face right now as she's posting this. She's got such delight and wonder, which this is part of animation, no matter what age you are. Though the older you get, the more kind of creativity and intelligence you need to appreciate it. So many people get dulled to it.
Well, with these technologies and stuff today, a lot of people don't appreciate the work that goes into it.
The work that goes into it.
Looking back at this stuff, when we go to the drive-in, they have those old animated cartoon shorts and the intermission things and all that they play. That's a type of animation. I love watching that.
By the way, Jamin says
popcorn.
We got to see Gertie the Dino at the showing of Jurassic Park at the Museum of Natural History. I don't know what Gertie the Dino is.
It's one
Elizabeth,
of those videos.
You look like you know what Gertie the Dino is.
It's probably the one I showed with Windsor McKinney. It is. Because he called it,
Yeah, that's the dinosaur video that she posted, where the vaudeville thing she was talking about. That's the video.
Now, the only reason why I went to Disney was just because I was throwing this together tonight. And that's kind of what I studied. That's kind of the epitome of animation. I didn't go into the anime yet. I will. I guess we will. The next time it comes around, we'll go there. But, I just wanted to do the ones off the top of my head. I thought it would be
These are classics.
special. The thing that they developed, what was the big name thing they did?
The evolution of animation, as it were.
Right. But I wanted to. I'm glad Chris is here because the foundation of all of this started with, paintings on the wall, puppet and moving bugs, moving. Okay, now the silly symphonies. Disney he was like Stan Lee in that they were always on the edge of bankruptcy. They were always. Sometimes artists didn't get paid. Sometimes,
But it was his passion.
It was his passion, and they were way ahead of their. Silly Symphonies fantastic, just amazing. And the trees and they did this series and they built up a demand and exploration. And
wait, hold on. A demand and an expiration?
Exploration.
Exploration.
Or
Okay.
expectation.
If you think about it,
They set the
you
bar.
they said you have to teach your audience. You can't just throw something out there and they don't know what's going on. The first time they showed a film of a train speeding towards the camera in a dark tunnel and the light getting bigger and bigger, people fled the theater screaming because they didn't understand it was film. And this was early enough in our time that you had to kind of train your eyes, expose them slow. Now we're kind of numb.
Well, that's an interesting thing too, because old animation things tend to have an expectation of getting better. I have one-upmanship and that type of thing, but do you feel that animation's declining or
No.
getting
Before
cheaper?
we do that, let me interrupt with announcements. For all of you watching, don't forget you can follow us by having notifications on Twitch, via Discord, or our newsletter, which all the links are below the screen. You can also share, bring your friends in, let them know what we're doing, and have a good time with you and us. You can support the channel by throwing bits, donating on the Tip the Tavern link below, merchandise, Patreon, etc., or even subscribe, and you can do that for free if you have Amazon Prime. Support us, nothing out of your pocket. Don't forget you can listen afterwards or when we're not on air with Google Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spreaker, Stitcher, etc. And we are about to go into the third hour, which is our naughty hour, but it's not really going to change anything. I think we're going to continue. We're having a good time with what we're talking about, and I want to go on with it. So let's do the intro music, get that the hell out of the way so we can go back to the topic that we're passionate about here. Here's the music. I'll turn
Time for the roll call for our late night, inappropriate, slightly intoxicated, and very naughty music hour. This is where the faint of heart swoon, parents put children to bed, and things heat up and get steamy. So pour another drink and strap yourself in. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
So anybody need a break real quick? Now's the time to jump off your mic and go do your break. Pop on back in a minute. Okay. And while they're stepping away and having a break, I want to know who's sticking with us. Who's sticking out the last hour and hanging out with us? What are you drinking? I've got a martini. Just a splash of vermouth and the rest gin. Not even bothered shaking and stirring anymore, and it's just as good. John, were you ever a martini guy?
No, rum, scotch, beer, obviously.
I do. Jameson's is a good Irish whiskey. And I like the heavier, the smokier, the more full-bodied. A lot of the 18 years that are a little more refined and a little less flavorful are not to my palate. I enjoy.
So Glenfiddich wouldn't be something.
Glenfiddich is okay. I enjoy it, but not as much as something a little more meaty, a little more solid. But I don't like bourbons as much.
Oh.
What's that?
Oh, okay. So do you like rum?
I do like rum.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But rum is kind of almost a guilty pleasure because it is so sweet and everything. It's I do love a good daiquiri, and I do love a rum and coke. It's and I tend to make
but what about a nice 25-year-old barrel aged South American rum?
I'd love to try one. I don't think I've ever tried an aged rum. Ever.
Oh, we're gonna have to change that.
Oh, yes,
I would appreciate that.
Many.
I would really appreciate that because I've never, you get. Oh,
because it tends to mellow it out. It takes away the sweetness a bit of it. I mean, but it's very good.
Does it become a sipping drink or still a mixing?
Oh yes.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Sipping rum. That's an interesting idea. I'd love to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody's back. Let's get back on topic. Maybe Thanksgiving, by the way, if you have a little bit. We won't take it all from you, Chris. If you bring it, we'll have a sip and let you take the rest of the
What?
bottle home with
Oh
you.
no! If I'm bringing nice rum, it's definitely to share.
It's Chris has mentioned there is well-aged rum, 25-year rums that you can actually sip straight as opposed to mixing, and I have never had an aged rum ever.
Wow.
So, and I do
Yeah,
like
I
rum.
prefer rums that have been aged at least 12 years.
I would
Right
love to
on.
try one,
Sip it, roll around in your mouth, enjoy it.
like I do a good Scotch
That's
or
what he
whiskey.
said.
Correct.
It is.
I named my penis rum. Okay, so we were talking at John. You were talking.
So, it appeared in the past that animation tended to do the one-upmanship.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool. I'm going to do this and that. And it's not to say that new stuff isn't clever. I thought like the Roger Rabbit series, the pre-cartoons and stuff for that were really clever.
I like Roger Rabbit.
I don't want to appear like because I'm older but I just don't get some of the newer cartoons and stuff that are out there
For example.
or animation. Steven Universe, Gravity Falls.
Love me some Gravity Falls.
I guess I just haven't watched it enough.
What about Rick and Morty?
The comic books are nice. Rick and Morty, I believe it or not, I have never watched.
Neither have I. Andrea and I watched like 4 minutes of the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody. Care, thank you for that subscribe. Little love to you there. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And welcome to the tavern once again. Feel free to jump in. We'll definitely read your comments out. Bear with us if one of them are talking. I try not to interrupt them too often. Okay. So, yeah. It's,
Rocco's Modern Adventures, I didn't quite get
Rocco's
that.
Modern Life.
Yeah,
Classic 90s Nick.
I can appreciate the humor of like some of the. I don't know if the Simpsons got kind of old.
They did.
Kind of repeated too much. But at first I liked it when it first came out. So.
89, I think. 88. Yeah.
89.
I like the first half dozen seasons, and after that, take it or leave it. I like it when I watch it. I don't miss it when I don't. South Park I still like because they actually have moral or they have lessons in it more often than not, but they're hidden in dick and fart jokes.
Well, but they tend to keep up with the times, I guess.
They do. They definitely hit whatever's going on this week or this month or whatever.
And I'd like to, you posed that question before the break. You said, is animation getting better? And I would like to respond to that. That's an interesting question. I think what's happening is animation, there's an intent when producing anything, right? So if you want to make money at animation, I think a lot of that are the animated film shows you're talking about. Some of them I like, some of them I find incredibly annoying, but I'm not the target group, right?
Right.
Just a few years older.
They are aiming. Oh, by the way,
Right.
Kerr says, thanks, and you're most welcome. Loving the stream. Love what you all do. Elizabeth, I am sorry to interrupt. I'm going to tell a little bit more about what we do when we're not on Monday nights.
Okay.
Monday nights, we have our group here. I usually try to have more one of us on, even if I'm playing World of Warcraft. Chris will be joining me. Andrea joins me. And there's us making commentary as we go, reading quests and silly voices. Other times I do editing or writing. So it's a huge variety stream. You're going to get many different things, but I will always speak to my audience, and I will always listen to my audience. Even the trolls. Sometimes the trolls are the best part of that day, aren't they, Chris?
Yeah.
So, Kerr, by the way, Kerr or Care, how do you want me to say that? Let me know. But thanks for jumping in. Keep commenting. I'm going to let Elizabeth go on
One
now.
or two. Kerr or Care. And when you don't see him here on Talk to the Tavern,
Thank you,
Tuesday
Andrea.
through Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, we're on my channel doing tabletop role playing, and he's our game master.
I game master 3 different games, very different games, superheroes, Star Wars, and steampunk monster hunting. So check those out because, again, a lot of audience interaction. Elizabeth,
We
please
encourage viewer interaction.
go on, Elizabeth. I'm sorry to interrupt. Thank you for being patient.
But in defense of those modern short anime, every once in a while I'll catch a really old one. And some of the ones we watched were pretty atrocious as well.
Oh yeah.
It's animation made for money. Like any Barbie movie is animated, and they sacrifice art for speed. You can have it. There's the triad. You can have it cheap, you can have it quick, or you can have it good. And you're only allowed 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Many are cheap and fast and good. That's Barbie. But they'll make money from it. You'll see people buying them at Christmas time DVD. Remember, family DVDs still sell. Family and horror. Thank God for places like Disney and Pixar and Leica, and there's of course even the animation for Morihito or Miyazaki's animation. They push it into an art. They push the craft. They take the risk, the expense, and they do that. I think Leica very often suffers from being such a great art and story that it somewhat loses the map.
I want to sideline here into computer animation. So looking at Star Wars or Avengers for the big names out there, we're using a lot of computer animation. So referring back to John's, one-upmanship, are we still one-upping, and are we doing it pointlessly because we haven't hit the peak of the craft of what we had before we throw something new on top? Andrew?
The Lego movies are computer animation.
Right.
And I enjoy the hell out of those.
Well, those are great writing.
I still need to watch the Lego Batman movie.
Great writing.
Oh, I love it. It's hilarious.
Well, another sidebar, I think that at least what I enjoyed about classics and things that were in the past was that it had stuff for the adults that the kids didn't understand, but the kids enjoyed it at the same time.
Like the Muppets.
The Flintstones weren't on Saturday mornings. No. They were on prime time.
They were the Simpsons of the 60s.
Right. And they had, even Looney Tunes, they had adult stuff in it, but the kids loved it too. And there's some shows nowadays, I think, that reach kind of both of those. Rick and Morty, I think, again, I wish I watched it, but I think kids enjoy it, at least from the feedback in the store, and adults tend to like it too. So I think those
I can't believe people let their children watch that show. That is an adult animation show.
People let their kids watch Deadpool too.
It is. They make really very rude jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
Shame on
them. Do
them.
the kids get them though?
Well, I'm not sure. Certainly.
They probably laugh, but they don't get them.
Well, I know the kids watch South Park. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of.
I wanted my son to be
in there.
So there's smart jokes.
Yeah, I wanted my kid to be
jokes.
16 before he watched South Park.
Like, I didn't think that Ren and Stimpy was made for kids either.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't not made by Cokehead, so
right.
absolutely
So
not for
it's like, and Beavis and Butthead and all these.
Well, obviously that was
yeah. And I've had parents tell me, not recently, but I just let my kid watch whatever animation comes out, whatever anime, whatever Disney film they want to watch. And I say, as always, I hope you watch what you allow your children to watch first. Oh no, I'll just let them watch whatever they want.
Well, I think because that adult thinks that it's a cartoon, it's got to be for kids, and that's not.
Well, it's not made by children.
Well, Andrea, do you want to tell the story about Sausage Party? Which I know you guys have heard, but I don't think Chris has.
Okay. We went to see Sausage Party in the theater. And someone brought their toddler.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And during the certain scenes that are very traumatic to the food, this child would scream, like
and cry.
it was very terrified and traumatized. It was crying, screaming. Well, it's horrible, and I'm probably a horrible person because I thought it was hilarious.
Not
but
only
still,
the scene,
people should-
but the kids screaming where you're
The
like,
kids
oh, that'll be
screaming
therapy.
during the scene. I thought it was hilarious.
But
which is
that would be
horrible.
like taking your kids to that pornographic Muppet movie that had the prostitute cockroach or whatever.
I'm looking forward to seeing
Muppet
that.
movie. I mean, it definitely wasn't a kid's show.
I've had people's their response is just, well, it's cheaper than a babysitter. Like, yeah, but think of the therapy bills.
Well, this is why
Cleaning up
kids are
the
fucked
murder
up.
scene. Yes.
Well, like
yes.
Five Nights at Freddy's, because there's, the video games are animation also. Five Nights
point.
at Freddy's is not for little children. And there was someone. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. My child's therapist when he was younger. She's like, oh yeah, my kid plays it. My kid was 17. Her kid was 6. I'm like, have you looked at the game? 11 and 6-year-olds.
Terrifying.
Yeah, she's like, oh, well, is that why he doesn't look at the screen during certain things?
I have,
Oh my God, people, be a parent.
I have input into this too, because I will go to my son and I'll say, there's certain games I don't want you to play. Now, you're in 2 houses, so you're allowed to play certain things at the other house that you can't play here. Five Nights at Freddy, when you're telling me you can't sleep and you leave the light on all night, maybe that's a key that you shouldn't be playing this game yet. You don't realize it's fantasy. It's creeping into your real life and it's affecting you psychologically. Now, as a parent, I can say you can't play it here, but I can't say it elsewhere. It's not up to me. But yeah, as a parent, oh my God, please look at what the fuck your kids are watching.
6-year-old. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You
Anyway,
need to raise your kid on no. They need to hear more no.
because they're gonna hear it in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If it's on
Unless
adult
they are returning
swim.
Yeah.
Unless they're returning a bucket. Oh
Yeah.
shit, they will not hear no.
Well, apparently the person who returned the bucket of shit did not hear no either.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so continuing that answer, I think there is an influx of low quality animation because of computer, because you don't have to have an artist to accomplish the craft anymore. You can have a technician. And so there is animation out there that is lifeless and it just kind of swings like marionettes. Or
It's all
there's
technical.
motion capture and it's fine. It is what it is. But when I am teaching children and I'm showing them something from Fantasia, the room immediately gets silent. And then I've had little kids look up at me and say, why is this different? And I say, because it's real, because it exists. It's not just binary. And there is a difference. There is a huge difference. And I don't know. It is what it is. It's like seeing a.
What do we all think of
It's
Rankin
like
Bass
when I
Christmas
met
specials?
Grover and Grover interacted with me,
Oh,
I became 6 years old again. I just couldn't believe it. Just overwhelming magic. And I couldn't even look at Frank on. Saw Grover, and I had to ask him a question. Something about real. Something about.
this is why I loved interviewing Pickle Man.
Yes.
I didn't even want you on camera. You're welcome to be on camera, but it wasn't
We
required.
don't want you, Elizabeth. We want.
It was, I love interviewing the puppet because it's a whole nother persona. But what do you guys?
Anytime you guys want to play with that, in fact, if Chris wants to play too, it could be fun. We could do puppet.
I wonder where's Ferdinand?
Where is Ferdinand, Chris? I remember Ferdinand. Hold on, he's got to go find
See,
Ferdinand.
I had a puppet. I had Albert. He's in a new home now.
But I think animation, like I said, I think Disney and Pixar are always pushing the envelope. I think that's how their knowledge. They do crank out shit. It happens. Not every recipe.
Yeah, we could talk about the Roseanne Barr movie with the cows.
The what?
You also got to pay taxes. You know?
But you have the Incredibles and things like that.
Yeah, The
You do,
Incredibles.
yeah.
The newest one is
Incredible.
high orgasm. It's
Yeah.
beyond eye candy.
Wow, that's not for children.
They
Out of
really,
that theater.
She suddenly turned into
You know
Grover. Oh, oh, oh.
John, you know what's interesting about Pixar is they want you to be a 2D trained animator, which is traditional hand-drawn animation, because that takes art, that takes understanding and layers of how to break apart a drawing, make a drawing look wrong, to make it work for motion. And they say it's easier to teach you computer than the other way.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and we tend to go that route. I mean, we teach the hands-on and color this by hand and get your eyes acclimated to things.
Look at that movie. I haven't seen all of it. I just scenes of the Vincent Van Gogh movie where the entire film is all his paintings animated.
Mhm.
It's extraordinary. Pushing the envelope. It's just expensive.
You
That's
guys
why-
keep
Well,
talking. I'll
it
be
gives
right
you
back.
more ideas. I
Yeah.
mean, how can I replicate this in the craft that I know how to do? We
Mhm.
teach that computers are tools to help you once you know how to do things to increase your productivity.
That's right. It's a tool.
It is a tool.
Mhm.
And incredible things like that. I think that they're also forcing writers to be better also. I mean, there is a whole, just department that writes those things just as much as they used to have, their art studio and that type that, bounce ideas off of each other. So
Mhm.
I like that approach to it. A little bit more brainstorming, I think, goes on with Pixar
Mhm.
than with, we approached, an animation company down in Atlanta, and they wanted $150,000 just to review what we wanted. It's like, what? And then I looked at the stuff they were putting out, and it's like, I think I'll pass.
Well, Pixar, they made a commitment. They keep story in production for 2 years, like story development before
Right.
it even goes into production. You got to respect it.
I think that's smart.
It's
I mean,
expensive. Yeah,
It is.
it's amazing. And I just got to read that book.
But it develops assets that they can reuse over and over and over. Once you've got all the 3D models and all that type of stuff, it's like a sculpture that you'll always have that you can change and kind of morph into the things that you need. But
Well, they certainly
Again,
allow the
back to-
directors that freedom.
oh yeah,
It's
of course.
Go ahead. Get back to what you were saying.
No, but it is. I mean, the director then gets to put in their input. The voice actors get to, kind of help mold what the animators are doing with the character. Because all those actors are actors. That's the thing that makes Disney and Pixar and all those places, their movies so great, is that they are voice actors. They are people that act.
Well, the first
Yeah,
thing you do.
they record all of the lines before they even start doing,
Oh yeah.
any of the animation, and are recording them giving the lines, and a lot of the times the gestures that
Yeah,
person,
And I like
ends up in the animation.
And I like in Japan where they're trying to get voice actors that speak English and that speak Japanese. Eventually, you're going to see it where they'll release them both that way.
That's great.
And
That
you'll have the same voice inflection and the same ability to act and stuff. So
It's one of the
Which I think
biggest
is smart.
complaints about Americanized anime is the American voice actors just don't get it right.
well, they were getting people that were doing commercials and stuff, and hiring them out to do it because
They're
the
getting
rate
like
was
Kirsten
less
Dunst, which
expensive.
is a decent actress, but she doesn't do it the way it was
Well,
done.
Before that, it was honestly it was people that were doing commercials and stuff that people that they could hire that weren't even known people.
I'd love to do voice acting myself. I don't know if I have a talent or a skill for it, but I'd enjoy doing it.
Well, we have a young man that does a radio show, a mock radio show, but he does all the voices of Link and Zelda and all the different animated characters like it's a radio show interview. And I think it's pretty clever stuff. I'm looking forward to him doing more of that.
Okay, and don't forget, I'm going to add on to what you guys are saying. It's true they do the recording and you watch the actor. Now, as an animator, you're given the scene and this dialogue to listen to the dialogue. I don't know, 300-400, whatever. And you will also go into a room and you'll be videotaped of you acting out the scene.
Really?
For those of you who need to draw or want to draw better, you need to take the code. You need to feel inside. You need to feel your muscles. You need to commit to how is it really, and they act out the whole scene, and then they have it and they're recorded, and then it helps with drawing, because you never speed animation before it needs to be there.
No, I mean, why do you think you have that nude woman sitting in the studio, people drawing them?
Because it's hot.
Because $20 is $20.
That's right.
Now, why I posted the silly symphonies is funny, because it's a nice segue. While they were doing it, especially this one, what is it? The trees and the flowers and the tree. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Disney wanted he had this idea of doing a feature, but he didn't want it. He wanted to bring it to the next level that John is talking about. And they were doing silly symphonies, and he tried to get them to do it intentionally on this post. And he wanted to get a feeling of relatable realism, I guess the word would be.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't quite accomplish it in the flowers and the trees, although they won a lot of awards. But he was trying to get Snow White, and he wanted it at a level that animation had yet to reach, and he got it. And and if John was saying the naked woman in the room, animators spent hundreds of hours, and they even started slowing film down to see how water droplets worked. I mean, they really got into the art, and they raised it. They actually when they came out with Snow White, it was such an incredible deal. No one had seen anything like it, and they even made specifically miniature Academy Awards for all the dwarfs. Shirley Temple gave it Disney. Yeah, I mean, it was a huge deal.
Now, do you feel Pixar was the next Snow White? When we first saw Bugs Life and Cars and Monsters Inc., was that the next Snow White?
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Story was the first one.
Oh,
The first
Roger Rabbit, I thought,
feature.
was, kind of in.
Yeah, Roger Rabbit, absolutely.
Yeah. Which that's the one I fell in love with Bob Hopkins. Did I get his name wrong? Hodgkins. Thank you. It's because of that role, and I watched Pan because of him. Jewel, you have a good night. Thank you for jumping in and hanging out. Jamin, are you still with us, or are you bailing, jumping out too? Is he home, or is he off hurting dinosaurs somewhere?
Apparently he's off, damaging smart cars.
There is
There you go. Smashing. The other thing I heard was for like The Simpsons, which I didn't know, was that how much their symphony how much goes into their music. I mean, they spend a lot of money on just the soundtracks, and people have to be able to actually sing in their cartoons and stuff. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Just remember, I think music and animation is intertwined. I love it. There's a rhythm with both, and you really want your animation. Anybody out there wants your animation to look better, stick classical music. Or animate to it.
Music can make or break it. Yeah.
Can make or break
We
it.
can thank Star Wars for the shift in music. They went back to they considered using modern music when they did Star Wars, and they went with a symphony instead, and I feel like that really changed filmmaking from that point forward. And we have soundtracks through 80% of most movies now, and sometimes when they don't use it, it feels so barren and hollow and empty.
The word's cheap.
What's that?
It feels cheap.
It does.
Tinny, just like
go watch Tron, where they use one synthesizer keyboard. As much as we love this breakthrough movie of technology and animation, the soundtrack is horrible, and it's a very boring movie now. Then very exciting, but
yeah.
Elizabeth, you look like you have words.
Fix that stuff.
Sorry. Okay, I just because we got off, I'm gonna post this one. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Okay, now if you want to see just amazing paint art, Pinocchio, you can't be. Forget about it. I just posted the link to the bath scene at Dumbo. And I think this is a moment in animation. I mean, if you think about it, it's beautifully acted. You absolutely believe there's a mama elephant bathing this little baby elephant. But I love to think of it as, this is just paint. It's just paint moving.
But that's the key thing. I think if you forget that it is just paint, that is the greatness of that magic is like you forgot that wasn't real.
Yeah, and that's now, and I brought that up because that's only 20 years after Silly Symphonies, maybe less, and they got it to there. Yeah, and it's amazing. Now remember, Fantasia, I think, was before Dumbo, and that movie flopped.
It did.
Was far
Failure.
ahead of it. People could not handle music videos.
Oh my god. See, Fantasia is my favorite, and it comes back to you saying music has a big impact on it, and
Well, sometimes it can be too far ahead. Is the problem?
Right. That's what Elizabeth's talking about. You have to educate your
Just-
audience. You have to go in phases and steps. You can't just jump to 3-4 steps ahead of where people are now. People are confused. They don't know what the fuck to do with it.
And that's the thing is you don't know until you try. And money and marketing is unfortunately part of the combination, but it is a business. So there you go. But they made money back afterwards because they were big enough and strong enough to where it could come back around again.
Right. Chris, do you have some thoughts on this?
He's having fun. Look at him twiddling.
Twirling his mustache. I figure he's got something brewing.
But remember, Disney just...
No. I had a cider with dinner and now 4 glasses of mead, so I'm good.
There you go. I feel like you should shave this and go with chops for a while. Have you done that before? Have you gone with just chops? I'm curious because I can't grow fur here yet. I can, but you can't see it.
It's like 3 of them.
Yeah, I tell Andrew, I'm like, feel it, it's there. You just can't see it. Anyhow.
I found my first gray in my beard this morning. It made me real sad.
I don't have a problem with it.
Don't pull it, it'll bring more.
I'm going to have that wonderful silver instead of just like black gray. So I'm okay with my aging hair color.
Yours is red, right, Chris? Your beard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it stands out. It's like, where did you come from? Like overnight.
You know, there's people that have red hair that never goes white, and there's people that mine goes immediately. It's red for a week and it goes off.
Well, Elizabeth, I love that you're getting...
I mean, I've been going gray for the last 10 years. It's just going up there, but it's never made its way into the beard.
It gets lower.
I was about to say, wait till it hits the pube. Wait till you start
rising.
Thinning out down there, and you're like, ah.
Welcome to the 3rd hour, people.
Here we go.
Now remember, in animation, and any company worth a thought will do this, or animator. It's not just an animator sitting there thinking these ideas. Completely involved. They watch dancers, and they meet the animal they're drawing, and musicians, and just constantly absorbing life and all types of art.
Andrea?
And that's why so many people are attracted to animation. Yes.
Oh, that made me think of it, Elizabeth. Have you seen, what is it? Zootopia.
Yeah.
Beautiful movie.
Oh my God.
Better than I thought it was going to be.
We watched the making of it, and they're like, oh, we need to see how these things move. So they went to the zoo to talk to the keepers to see how animals moved. And then they went to Africa to actually observe how the animals move. They went to them in their environment, and it was just the process of what they did just to make it look.
And then as they take these animals from quadrupeds to bipeds and still keep the movement in there.
Yeah. They're like, okay, well, if they were up on 2 legs, how would they do it?
It is a bit of magic, isn't it?
It's amazing. and they're just cranking it out so quickly.
Yeah, and by quickly we mean 3 to 6 years.
Yeah. Well, and see, just watching the making of it and the process of what the people, and it's not just one or two, it's hundreds of
Thousands
people.
Remember what
yeah.
Andrea said, it's painstakingly mind-numbing slow.
It is.
So what
And
do you
yet
guys
they
think?
still
Is
do a feature film.
modern CGI backsliding? Is it not as good as the other animation that we've kind of fallen in love with?
Well,
It has its place, I think.
I mean,
good
it definitely
CGI.
is different.
So look at Marvel CGI versus DC's
Right.
CGI.
Yeah.
Marvel will slow things down and bring it into your face, and it's still CGI, but it is so well done. Where DCI's objective is to speed it up and move it off to the frame, and it just doesn't ever look, well, at least to me, very. It looks more like it's CGI versus
Right.
it's real.
And by the way, though
It's
I
not-
enjoy their movies, I agree with you. There is a huge difference. There's a step or two between the two.
Yeah.
And even
Well,
yeah, Chris.
I was gonna say, like, even when you're getting into the more modern Disney movies, like Tangled and Zootopia, like that, where they're still trying to make them look hand drawn to an extent, but they're just not, and I don't think they look as nice as a hand drawn animated thing. And I'm kind of sad that they're moving that way with like Tangled and Frozen and all of those guys.
What do they call
Pretty much anything after 2010 is this new animation style.
What do they call it when things look too real? What's that term?
Demonic.
No, but yes, that's the meaning behind the term.
Photorealism.
No. There's a
Surreal?
there's a specific word, something syndrome or something where it looks too human and it freaks us out. So you need to have it look not real.
Chris, the animation department at Disney's open.
Does anybody know the term I'm looking for?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me do this real quick.
Use the Google.
I ain't holding shit.
Well, I think with he was explaining with the newer Disney animation, it looks like it's a cross between claymation and
Yeah, kind of.
animation, kind of.
All right.
In Japan, I mean, they tend to do that with Macross, where it's all edgy and it's mechanical, so it fits a lot better. But when they're doing the CGI with more of a fantasy thing, it just shows that it is CGI, so it makes it worse.
Uncanny
Yeah.
Valley.
It's blaringly is different from the same thing that is, because it's all the same scene. So one part sits out from the other part, and it just doesn't. It just.
I just posted 2 links. Now, one is about Cinderella, but that's something else. I was going to talk about the animation technique. We'll get back to. I posted a link. The bottom one is to Papermate, and that is a very interesting experiment Disney did. They took a 2D animation and a 3D model in computer, and then put them together. The animation, the hand-drawn animation, it's like the map they put around this figure. And I think it came out with really beautiful results. And they use little bits. You can still kind of see the brushwork from, the hair and this and that. And I think they're finding their way interesting compromise. And it feels different. It feels very different than other 2D. But I got to side with both of you. I like 2D best. I'm sorry. I do. I really like seeing just the pencil test. And even when it's still rough, where you can see drawing lines moving around, that movement is drawing. It's magic.
They call it the uncanny valley, where it looks so real it becomes creepy, and we no longer want to accept it because it looks like it could really exist. This happens in video game animation. This happens in where they have to back it down. Because
I would imagine in that type of genre, it would be.
yeah, well, if it looks like
the
it's
Final Fantasy movies are that way for me. They're just why? Like, well, look how perfect it looks real. Yeah, but then just shoot it like that.
But I don't have a problem
Or
with
that
it.
Beowulf movie that they did all of the motion capture on. That was ooh.
It was weird, huh?
I think a good example of what Elizabeth was talking about, I remember seeing it, was a dog fight, but they did it with 3D models and stuff, but then they went back and they actually painted everything. So they used it as a template, but they actually then went back and they painted everything, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it shows them because they use
actors need to be careful because they're doing that now, where they're mapping people's faces and putting them on models. We might get to a point where you don't really need the physical embodiment of actor.
They've already done that. With some films.
Acting in American Hollywood movies died years ago.
Well, Star Wars, they brought Grand Moff back.
Where they have anti-aging technology, where they revert you back to an earlier age, and they basically auto CG a person, so they don't have the
Benjamin
lines.
Button.
Well,
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Andrea watched that movie where they had really heavy makeup and they spackled on their.
Is that Cabaret?
I'm sure whatever it was.
That was Ocean's 8.
So
Ocean's 8.
Can we have animation that looks too real where you guys would back away from it?
I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't back away from it, but I wouldn't enjoy it. How's that? And I think some of the Final Fantasies and some of the ones that they've done, the CG movies where they try to be clever and push that envelope, and it just ends up, to me, looking bad.
Chris?
Yeah, no, I would have to agree.
See, I don't have that issue. Now, I'm an oddball, and I'll give you that, and really in any arena you want to discuss about me. But I don't get creeped out because it looks too real.
Yeah, I don't know that that's what I have a problem.
Yeah, I don't get creeped out. I just don't like it.
Okay, well,
which is different.
I don't know when that dinosaur's on the pier crying. You're missing his friends.
Don't make her cry.
I think if it distracts you from the film or ostracizes the audience, it's
that
wrong.
Makes sense.
It's wrong.
There you go.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just posted a link to the skeleton fight from Jason and the Argonauts. Because that scene made me want to do it. That was one of the ones.
Harryhausen.
Yeah, Harryhausen.
Ray Harryhausen, who we named the cat after. That was his
the animated
work.
movie about the older gentleman with the house with the balloons. And
Up.
I can't watch that either.
I like the story. I mean, it was
beautiful
interesting.
story. That's why Andrea can't watch it. Because that first 10 minutes where it goes through like the kind of photo shoot of him and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I have a wonderful print in my living room that takes the two characters, the husband and wife, the old man and his wife, from Up, and it dresses them like Han and Leia.
It's a mash, yeah.
It's a mashup.
I've seen that.
And it's, I can't think of the artist's name, but he does some wonderful mashups, and I will promote him every chance I get. James, I'm going to go look.
I don't know. I love his artwork. And you have quite a few pieces of his.
I do. I have 4 or 5 of his. What's that, John?
But I think that's where the story or the emotional things in that particular story, can even make the animation probably wasn't the edgy, the best animation. But
I don't think it needs to
be. Fit the theme, that's where you need great stories.
Okay, here's something I'm going to throw out there, and you guys agree or disagree, whatever you feel.
How clever.
Your story is king above any kind of filming, acting, or animation. If the story isn't there, the rest will fall short.
I'm trying to think of anything that didn't fit into that mold, per se. Let's see.
Maybe a nature
I think
documentary.
that if the acting is bad, the story will be lost. I've seen that in so many things.
Absolutely. But no matter how great the acting is, if the story falls short, you walk away wanting.
Yeah, I think it's got to go both ways. Sorry.
Go ahead,
But
Chris.
was the original Star Wars a great story?
No, it was King Arthur redone.
Right. So, but it became a cult classic.
Because
It's still a good story.
it was a comfort like Avatar. People are like, what's great about Avatar? It's the same story, right? But like Star Wars, it was a story that was comfort food. It was meatloaf and potatoes.
Right.
But
I don't know that I would go that far with Avatar. I also don't see yes, it was visually stunning,
delicious visually, especially on big screen.
Yeah. But I didn't.
I mean, yeah, I did see it on the big screen, but I watched it on like a television at home, and it's like I don't want to watch it again. I just don't. I
didn't find it an appealing movie. The story was just kind of.
I feel like Elizabeth has an opinion.
I still don't know what.
I don't understand why they now have a giant Pandaria land.
Right.
Well, because they're coming out with the next 3 movies.
But these are some of those examples about.
Other than it being kind of pretty the first time around because it was new and it was something that we hadn't seen before. Yeah.
Here's
sure.
The 3D.
I don't think it'll be a classic like Cinderella or
the 3D in that animation. It no longer featured on what's coming at you. It featured what's behind everybody. It gave depth to 3D for the first time, doing it right and completely, and it felt like you were looking at a real world. Sorry, Andrea. What?
But here's the thing. I saw it and it was pretty, but I don't know what the whole movie was about.
You can't watch 3D though.
No, I did watch. I mean, I can. It just gives me motion sickness. But it was a beautiful movie. I was, mesmerized by it. But I don't know what the movie was about.
I have an answer.
Go ahead.
It was about $2.3 billion. They are going to crank shit out of it. They're going to see how much they can make.
How many years later,
That's more than countries. That's more.
It's just, it was pretty, but it was lacking in story. The story was not memorable enough,
Well, the Chinese movie it's gorgeous that they pulled out of theaters after the first week and they spent who knows how much money on that thing.
Would that be the Pokemon movie that made people go into seizures?
No.
The episode of Pokemon, they had
wasn't a movie. It was an episode.
They had Pikachu. Yeah, it was an episode, but on TV it created seizures because of the flashing lights.
Wow!
By the way, that was 9 years ago. Avatar came out, and now they're releasing 3 more.
Well, they had to do it.
So maybe we'll get an original story.
Let me respond to this with the link I just put in the feed. Okay. Years ago, does everyone remember that movie Heavy Metal?
Yes, which was mediocre in my opinion. Go on.
Okay.
Wait, which movie? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Heavy Metal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I remember
Chris,
that.
When they
cult classic from the 80s, based after a magazine, and MTV had some stuff like that. But it was very edgy and very popular. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay. So initially, when they designed this movie, the creators got together and they put out a call to animators or people they reached out to, and they were asking them to animate a certain amount of time, a few minutes, however they could do, and the subject would be around the green globe, that glowing ball of evil. And animators around them were on it, and the deals were made, and they turned things in. And unfortunately, many of them looked alike, and one of them didn't. Section done by Cornelius Cole. I know this because he was an instructor of mine at Draw. He did his section, and that's this link. And it was so different from one, but it was an amazing piece of artwork. And if you look at the level of detail, I can't get a great copy of it for some reason. Boxy copies on the internet, on YouTube right now. It's an incredible piece of work, and they couldn't use it because it just stood out so obviously from the rest of the film. Because the rest of the film, everyone kind of did it generalized Saturday morning cartoon type look to it.
Elizabeth?
So it can happen, but once again, if you are an artist, you always run the risk too far out there.
Elizabeth,
Beautiful.
I'd really like to, off topic, going back to something you said earlier, I really want to hear your Frank Oz Grover story. I'm really curious about that story because I've never heard
Maybe
it.
we should save that for the Muppet episode.
Oh.
Fuck that shit. We could tell it a second time there. What? You met Frank Oz and you hung out with Grover? Tell me.
I hung out, yeah. We were taking big old shits in buckets.
What does
That's
Grover
what
shit
I
look
said.
like? Is it
You have
purple?
not lived until you've seen Grover shit. I'm just saying.
Because it goes around
Okay.
the arm that's up his ass. What?
I don't have many things to brag about in life, but here's one of the major. Not only have I met Frank Oz, but on the second time he recognized me.
Wait, you met him more than once?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was at Cal Arts. He came to school, and he huge, big time animation filmmakers that come to school and
I
talk
need you
and
to
do
send him an
presentations.
email and bring him on. It'll just be us. I swear. You, me, him, Andrea, Chris.
I'll give it a shot. I have a picture of him and me standing there.
He
And he's
remembered.
tall too, so he's taller than I am. He's a cool
Wow.
picture. Okay. I can't remember if it was the first time he came or the second time he was there. But when he would show up, he would bring a few puppets with him.
Yeah.
And then as he's talking, and he's very calm, low key, the whole audience, all these animators, like,
Keep talking.
So happy. He would not do the Yoda book. And he would not even answer questions about Yoda. He was just so over that.
Okay.
Funny at the time.
I'm good talking about Grover and Dark Crystal and everything else.
He brought out Grover, and you could, and I remember what was magic about Mr. Oz. Say this lovingly.
Mr. Oz.
I would sit there like, okay, don't look at him. Only look at him. Don't look at the puppet. And I couldn't. He was so good at it. I just would keep looking at this life. And he had Grover. I was raised for him. And he called on me, and I went blank. And Grover sitting there, hello,
Did he do near and far?
What is your question? And I couldn't think of anything. And so I just said, what is your most favorite thing in the world?
Good question. Good question for Grover.
Yeah, that's what because he would answer questions as Grover. And he said, Vegetables. He loves the Vegetables. And I was crying, not like sobbing, but I was just to see something
Emotional.
on TV as a child, and then it was there. And one person did get to touch Martha.
Wait. Somebody gets to what?
Touch Grover. She got to go on stage and touch Grover.
Inappropriately?
No.
Okay, fine. Go on. I'm sorry. I have it. It's Talk of the Tavern. I had to put that. Go on.
Yeah. She was the not the secretary. She ran the department. She was the liaison. She got everybody was just like and she touched him like a little child. It was amazing.
So
he had Cookie Monster one time.
He's my favorite.
He did not bring Miss Piggy.
I don't like Miss Piggy. I don't care. She's annoying. She's a cunt, really. She's a little pig cunt.
Cookie Monster, and there is a Cookie Monster at the MoMI now. Yeah, he's a two-person puppet, or one.
Right, hands and head.
So he only did it one hand, but you can't not look at him.
So what about the second time you met him? What was that?
He was there again another year, and I was TAing, and I walked in the office, and he was talking to the guy in charge, and I said, oh, good evening, Mr. Oz, would you like a coffee? Which is the way you always go to talk to the celebrities. You always offer something. And he said, no, thank you. He says, oh, I know you.
Oh, wow. That's an amazing man. And
I asked him about, because it was right after, because he's done movies. He's written movies.
Right.
I asked him what his advice was on selling his screenplay. Honestly, it's truly all who you know. And I thought, well, I don't know anyone. I guess my career's done. And now it's back alive. So.
Great.
He is extraordinary. And when he speaks, he always speaks very highly of Jim. He raves about how Jim gave him mutual credit, or they directed together on Dark Crystal. And he said he owes his career to Jim. And just goes on and on about what an amazing guy
I
he was
submitted
to
a
work
story
with.
for the next Dark Crystal book. I did not make it. I did not win the contest. But
So there was a contest?
there was a contest 2-3 years ago, maybe more, maybe 5 years ago. But yeah,
It wasn't that
they're
long ago.
bringing back Dark Crystal, and
On Netflix.
Netflix.
So how
really?
do you know they just didn't steal your ideas?
He doesn't.
I would love to be that guy whining that they stole my idea. I would be fucking thrilled if they stole my goddamn idea. I don't even remember what my idea was, but yeah. Send him an
It's
email. See if
it's
he
a
remembers you.
prequel.
I'll find that picture for you.
Yeah.
But he did talk about Yoda and how much strain it put on its hand. And it caused a lot of nerve damage.
Why more with Yoda than anybody else?
He said it was so heavy.
Oh.
And then he would have to get up and under. I can appreciate that. It does. It's awful. And he wouldn't do the voice, though.
No, that's okay. It's I'm sorry. We bored Chris with Frank Oz.
No.
Whatever, man. Fuck you. Just shut up and leave. Just click off.
You know.
You're okay. Don't leave.
Don't do it.
Did you break them?
We might have.
No, we're still recording. You can see.
Are you okay? Hi.
I bet Chris would just jizz a little if Frank Oz came on the show and I brought him on with him. But who else would I bring on besides Andrea? Because she's she's always coming on if she wants to be on. Anytime
Oh my God! You know what?
But Elizabeth and Chris and Frank, how would that show be?
You know what I would want, and then I would kind of die a little bit.
You have to be chill, though. You know, I'm
yeah.
Frank, how's it going?
But you
I'm
know,
always chill.
Here's a copy.
You know the near and far with Grover.
I would ask him to do that on air if he had a Grover. And,
God,
yeah,
I remember that. I remember Super Grover, and when he asked for orange juice.
I would ask him to do "There's a Fly in My Soup." Oh, but no,
But you know what is amazing, and I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you this time, Travis.
Go.
I do find that, and the Henson Productions, and there was a softness to it, sincerity to his work, and maybe not so much his experiment, but in the work he produced, especially for families, and I like that, and what is inspired me in Pickleman to maintain that softness. And that's what I think people really respond to. And that's the artist comes into.
Here's what I'm going to do, guys. Thanksgiving, I was considering putting movies on TV. I have season 1, 2, and 3 of The Muppet Show. I'm going to put those on and just leave them quietly in the background the whole time. Because the beauty of The Muppets is, as an adult, there is adult humor in there. In Sesame Street, in the puppet parts in particular, there is adult humor that children never catch. They're subtle, they're small, they're not constant, but there is adult humor in there. And it's a beautiful part, because as a teenager, when I was 13, I would watch Sesame Street. Now, I'd flip over to Thundercats when they had their fucking cartoon parts on, but when it had the puppet parts, the Muppets in particular, I would watch it as a teenager. Because I was now understanding the adult humor blended into it. So this is why parents loved Sesame Street. Yes, it taught their kids how to count, 5 words in Spanish, and all these other things. But it also had
sign language.
Sign language. Well, that was after the 80s.
Did you read that article where they said the writer one of the original guys that wrote Sesame Street said that Bert and Ernie are not gay and two friends together.
Yeah.
I never
Just
thought
show
they
each
were
other.
gay.
Well, anyway, people were trying to politicize things, which I think you should just let things be. And that's the
when it
soft
first came
take
up, it
talking
came up
about.
as a joke, and I laughed and went, "That's
Yeah, it was
great."
funny.
Yeah.
And then later,
That's
when
funny.
people pushed it, and they came out
Yeah.
with, you know what, Bert and Ernie are puppets, not gay. I went,
Yeah.
well, great answer, because duh.
I think what was the Dick Cavett show? I think it was a Dick Cavett show. One of the talk shows had Ralph the dog on. You know, Jim Henson had a recurring appearance on it. It might have
Yeah.
not been Dick Cavett. I'm not sure.
I
Anyway,
think it was
they
Dick
asked him
Cavett.
about it. They asked him about, you know, having sex or something, and he's like, I don't even have legs. Look, buddy, give me a break.
That's
Yeah.
great. It's you know,
And it's just a reminder to sometimes let the magic just
be magic.
We don't have to impose our will on.
I've told you the stories about where I lived with one of Jim Henson's children and went to his house. I've told you all that, right?
A little bit, but tell us again.
No, we got 2.5 minutes left in the show. We're going to wrap it up.
Tease. Story tease.
That's for another time. But all I'll
We do
say
need a
is
That's for the
closing
Muppet
toast.
episode.
it is. Every experience I've had has been positive, even some of the most horrifying experiences in my life, which involved one of his children. Still a magical time in my life.
We do need a closing toast since we did not have an
Oh
opening
man, we need a
one.
closing toast.
Young love.
Hey, here's to the magic of animation and
Cheers.
believing things that don't exist.
Here, here.
Once again, they need to get animators animating magic. Enough with the wand bullshit. We got it. It's a wand. Let's do some animation, like in the old days when and they would come alive. Like, so that would be amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
just like there's still stop motion, just like there's still claymation, classic animation will never disappear. It will just never be what it was because that's all they had. They have more now, and that's where the masses will go. But we'll always have Kubo. We'll always have puppets. We'll always have shadow magic. We'll always have these wonderful experiences that continue on to this day. Okay, let's wrap this up. Let's play some closing music. Let's get the hell out of here. Really? Somebody's... Okay. Oh, it's my buddy. Hope you hung out. Hope you had a good time. We're getting out of here. Oh, by the way, Andrea, are we playing World
Check
of
us out
Warcraft?
tomorrow.
Are we playing World of Warcraft after this, or are we done?
I'm not.
Man, she looks like a Muppet right now telling me no. Here's the outro.